Right now, thanks for watching. Anything you want to, you got Intel?
Well, I do have Intel at that 30 level again, but I was actually going to mention BBAI as well. Like this is, it's a super strong stock today, but it looks like it's potentially going to lose 8, and then that volume weighted average price comes into play if it loses the $8 level. And one more for you, because I saw Gemini Space, I mean, whatever, these guys did a Gemini Space Station, but that's not what everyone's going crazy about this stock for, because they're another crypto play here. But Gemini up 6%, huge volume spike. I tried to find news on it, but there was a volume spike just a couple of minutes ago. I saw no news story in particular. Maybe it's something technical in here, but just keep an eye on Gemini, as that is absolutely flying to the upside. It's runner's kind of day. You know, like whether it's Virgin Galactic or Rigetti or Big Bear AI and now Gemini, the market itself isn't running, but certainly a lot of runners going. Let's get you guys over to the midday. It's Joey Options, and it's Sharif long MVST and NUAI. Let's call it what it is.
Boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That's your boy, Joey Options. I like how we go from that side to this side. You know, he takes care of business, baby. Shout out to everybody. Where is everybody at? Let's shout out everyone. Come on, guys. Throw your name in the chat if you're newer. Bob Stevenson and Oxlong.
Okay.
Shout out to Grant Ratcliffe. Let me see if I can read that. I know I can't read that, Joey. I tried. There's some letters I still don't know.
Okay.
Shout out to Koss and Gin Vesting and Picky Eater, Robert, Isaac, and what kind of day would it be if we were not joined by Hangry Wife? Shout out to Hangry Wife and Miggy, Mog, Mo. We got Buffalo Soldier and JG. Grateful for Bitcoin, my man. We got Yannick. We got Drufus beyond their controls. Right back at you, baby. LFG, Carter, Q Bruce, Roger Noonan, and Front Porch Trader. Fantastic name there. Devin Juarez. We got Lone Hustler and Chango Cuevas, sorry, butchered that. M. Butler and Dan the frickin' man. I love it. I see that one. Andrew Chow. We got Waleed. We got Danny. Mac SWP Crypto C. We got Fly Guy Hashe.
Ooh.
Okay. Who else, man? We got Ash. We got Caleb Gonzalez, Nestor, Werewolf. One more here, Joey. Let's see who we got. Who's got the interesting name? I'm looking. Cheese Wizard. I loved Cheese Whiz as a kid. So Cheese Wizard gets the round of applause. Good morning, Joseph.
Good morning. Yeah. I was never a big fan of Cheese Whiz, man. A bit full disclosure. Do they still make that? Do they still make that garbage?
You know what? I don't even know, bro. I don't even know.
Hopefully not, man.
They do make it. Katina Man confirmed it's still being made.
I don't know, man. Get rid of the Cheese Whiz. All right. Yeah. All right. What do we got going on? What are we gonna trade? Let's take a look at anything. Nothing spectacular on this morning, guys. So we tried IONQ. That didn't work out for us. And then we took a stab on NVDL. NVDL. Excuse me. And that didn't want to cooperate either. So that's it. We take those couple trades in and work. We're going to be patient, wait for some quality setups. There was some opportunities, but you guys know that we had a little bit of power issues. But aside from that, let's find something. Let's stay in sniper mode. Plenty of risk left on the day. And it's nothing bad, right? We're not too worried about a couple of losses here and there because we can get that right back immediately right away. And I'm curious to what you guys are looking at. I'm relying on Gorev, Los Pollos, and my guys in there to start pointing out some signals just in case they do see anything. So other than that, patience. When we get back from Sharif, what we will do is the upgrades and downgrades, and then we'll go through some open interest and what we got from a call volume standpoint.
All right, guys. Here's what we're looking at right now. We're involved in a couple of trades. Sorry about that. REPL. We just got into this one. Pulling into that 3 mid-80s. I'm looking for this one to hold up at 380 where the 10 EMA on the 5 is. We'll see if it does. We're also, as Neil mentioned, in NUAI. Looking for this one to hold the dollar and work its way back up, possibly, into the high single digits. Ideally, though, into the mid double digits. I'm talking about 15, 16. That's the high day, currently 15. But I'm still very much aware of this lower high pattern that we've been putting in ever since making said 115 high. So let's see if we kind of get that continuation, or are we just going to, is this going to be the midday drop? right? Because we've been seeing this a lot more lately. The small cap gappers are not as aggressively strong to the high side as they were, say 2-3 weeks ago when we saw the crypto hoarding companies really, everybody was hitting triple digits on the day. So that is not the case. So we need to trade the market in which we find ourselves in. So that's my look right now. So involved in a couple of names, REPL doing nothing over here. We're in at 87. It's showing me 87. So break even on that one. NUAI, we've had 3 beak wetters all the way up into 105. That 106 order goes unfilled. So those are the ones I'm involved in, but that's not the extent of what I'm looking at. We've got 8 on the side, so let's go through them. Already introduced you into NUAI and REPL. Let's talk about ASTX. A bit more expensive. It's not, a single digit name or a low double digits, but it's like 33.15 at the moment. Been very respectful of the 10 EMA on the 5 and up about 21, 22%. NXXT looking at possibly flat top breaking through 2.25. I'll look to see if I can set up on this one with a possible out below 10. So we'll have to risk about 8 pennies. We'll go through the others as soon as we get back from Adara.
I just want to let you guys know, Trump just finished his remarks. Also, here's the US dollar against the Brazilian real, actually dropping here. Trump did talk quite a lot here about Brazil in front of Brazilian President Lula, whose speech immediately preceded Trump's. He said that there will be strong tariffs on Brazil, is what Trump said during this speech. He also said that he has, quote, excellent chemistry with Lula. So keep an eye here on USDBRL. Again, USD trading lower against the BRL as we get these comments. Apparently, I'm also seeing here commentary on X. Brazil's stock exchange is doing quite well today as well as we get this commentary. Back to you.
Let's continue on before your boy Joey Options goes through the upgrades and downgrades Assassino. So let's continue. POET, this is very strong as well, but it feels like it is topping out here at 620. At the moment, it's at the 10 EMA. Looks like a nice bull flag with a bit of a bullish twist. Surprise, surprise. What I mean by that is the flag component is not tilting down. In fact, it's tilting up through higher lows. So this one could be an interesting one here, especially if it holds on to the 10. It's not up big. It's only up about 19%, but trend is holding nicely. And then this is the one that I didn't take my shot on. I don't know. I didn't really believe in it. BKKT, this had all sorts of price action yesterday, popping out on news right at ADM and generally holding, the majority of the gains popping up into 1475. I love that look because this morning, 1475, yesterday's close, ended up being today's support. At least it was in the pre-market. We haven't needed to test that support since the pre-market because, we're trading at $18 at the moment. But this one also held the 10 EMA like a glove. You could also look at it from previous area of resistance acting as support. Case in point, 1750, we reject. We go all the way up into 18.25, come back down, test. That 1750 again holds. So it's a bit more expensive of a name, high double-digit name, but I think it will present opportunities. If it does, I'm all game. I'm talking about BKKT. Last but not least, MVST. I'm 0 for 1 on this one. I tried to get in at the 10 EMA on the 5. It lost it, and then it lost even more, losing the 20 on the way down now to the volume-weighted average price sitting at 4.25. I don't actually mind trying to take a trade off that 4.25, but just the speed with which this one lost the bid does concern me. From 1450, we drop all the way down into 425 in the same time that it took us to rise like a quarter of that range. So it's obviously very aggressive to the downside as people look to take profits. We're going to pause for a second, and we're going back to Adara.
ULR and Watch Sharif, this might be up your alley. It's about a $5 stock. Not a ton of volume. We just got a big volume spike, though, for KULR, especially relative volume. The chief technology officer of the company is posting on X. I guess they had a big milestone. They're sharing that their Cooler One Air drone battery platform is ramping up production in Texas. So Texas production ramp up for KULR, continuing to increase in volume here, though it is still struggling to break above Friday's high. Back to you.
All right, guys. Yeah, thank you for that very much, Dara. Let's take a look at what we got going on the list here. We're going to go through these pretty quickly, and then we'll get into the options talk. So Nike getting that upgrade. These are all price target raised here on the upgrade. So Towsley Advisory Group raising that Nike price target to $75. Amazon's moving here, guys, starting to recover a little bit of his losses. Tesla by Mizuho getting that price target raised to $450. And then we have Cap by Citigroup also getting that price target raised. And then Google also to $280. 42.85. We like that. And then LIN, Lineage there by JP Morgan Chase, lowered to $43. Symbiotic, $35 by UBS Group. And then Lululemon also getting that lowered to $195. Wendy's, I happen to like Wendy's a little bit. They're getting the downgrade as well. Now, let's move forward and take a look at some of the call activity. Yes, that is correct. The volume on this week's expiration cycle, that was yesterday, so don't forget it resets every day. The open interest does not. Now, 414,000 contracts traded at that 185 strike price. Yes, that's 41 million shares just alone at that specific strike price. That's quite a bit of volume right there. And then we also had the Nasdaq. So that's obviously going to be correlated with NVDA. That's substantial size on yesterday's expiration cycle, 198,000. Open interest, relatively light, only 10,000 there. Now, Rich Tech Robotics, continuous breakout. Now, this is an expiration cycle, not until October the 17th at that $5 strike price, where you could say, Joe, that's not a lot of volume there. But relatively speaking, that's quite a bit. We have 11,600 contracts there. Open interest, 10,500. Now, there goes IBIT on that bounce. Yeah, so there it is. I'm just going to try to avoid the crypto space because I'm just holding a bias. I want it to go up, and yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Okay, so now let's take a look at Tesla. I like that one. TSLA we'll use. Nice hammer candle. Is it isolated? Absolutely not. But let's keep an eye out on it anyways, just in case it does get a little bit of a pullback, holds these lows, and then we can get that bounce back into the volume weighted average price. But we want to zoom out and take a look at the daily. It's been on a pretty big run, right? Like if you go from this breakout day to where we're currently trading at, 25%. I wouldn't be surprised if it slowly starts to cool down. And if you look at it from a daily perspective as well, are you in territory where it looks like it's going to break out from an intraday standpoint or even have a big possible rebound? Right now, the answer for me is no. Could I be wrong? Hopefully so, especially if you're taking those longs, but that's what we got our eyes on. TQ is relatively choppy as well, guys. We'll take a look at the overall market. I know Katina Man was short earlier, and yeah, it's pretty choppy, so you get some nice moves, but it's just a nice base at 103.92. Keep an eye out on that. I got my eyes scanning everywhere. We're going to go over some of the top volume names, and with that, maybe we'll find a potential trade tree.
Oh, there we go. Corey Ewan already dropping cash in the chat. My man Corey, my guys Sharif and Joe, give me good news on DraftKings. Still holding 47.50 call, November 21st contracts. Should I hold my peace and be patient? I know we looked at this for you yesterday, but let's have a look again today, see what's going on with Donkey Kong over here at DKNG. All right, what are we looking at? What's the current pattern? Okay, well, I like this rounded bottom, and we've seen this rounded bottom on prior occasions, Corey, lead to some higher highs. I'm talking about this nice little rounded bottom back early July. I'm also talking about that mid-August rounded bottom again that led to local area highs. So we're below the 10 at the moment. I don't really want to use the moving averages over here because you get in trouble when you use moving averages in consolidative areas, and that's exactly what this is. So, yeah, I like it. 47.50 calls. Joey, you give him your opinion with respect to the option strategy, but I happen to like this particular area as an area of support. I'm talking about that low 40s area. It seems to be holding up multiple times. I also like the rounding effect. The rounding seems to lead to higher highs, sort of that oscillation that we see, you know, with some of these stocks. So I like the TA on this. I don't see anything that would really scare me out of a trade, but your boy Joey Option is going to have to comment on the nature of the options trade. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so November 21 contracts, we'll take a look at that, and see what we got cooking up. There it is, DKNG. I mean, I like this, man, personally. So we're going to go over to November. Actually, we'll just take a look at what we got going on from the at the money. 47.5s there. Not much volume on this week's expiration cycle, but let's go over to the November expiration cycle. There is some size at that 45 strike price.
47.5, nothing. 50, you got 9,000. So that's a positive sign. Maybe you'll get the magnet effect there. We're going to go over to the October 3rd expiration cycle, nothing substantial. So 9,000 open interest on that November expiration cycle. Maybe you get the magnet effect and head up towards that $50 level. Now, what I was about to say to beyond their control, choose your words carefully, my friend, because in Sparta, everyone is held accountable. So when you say 44, no, I'm only messing with him. He said 4,400 on Ethereum by the end of the week, and I'm holding him accountable. So essentially is what I'm taking a line from 300. In all seriousness, let's take a look at something else. Tesla, got my eyes on that one. You can see that the market is struggling to break and hold the volume weighted average price. So there it is. Maybe you want to short at the top, range bound, get in at the lows, vice versa, whatever you feel more comfortable with, going long at those lows and getting out at the top end of the range until we start to find a more definitive direction. What I would want to see is volume step in, and either way, you get that 5-minute open above the range. Maybe you can go that way, you get the 5-minute open below the range, and maybe you head to the south. So that's what I got my eyes on. I don't mind sitting on my hands for a while, waiting for that prime time setup.
All right, man, I like it. I'm just setting up an order over here for NXXT. We'll see what this one does. All right, guys, let's just cut the crap. All right, GEMI is breaking out. It's breaking out quite aggressively over here. $23 area low. It's breaking through 26, and it's on the way to 26.5. It's not a big percentage-wise, only 12 3/4, going on 13. But it's it's pretty parabolic and pretty unabated to the quarterback. Shout out to my football fans out there. Here we go, showing 26 and change. I don't want to punch in. We're well extended away from the 10. The 10 EMA on the 5 is showing me $25. We're printing 26.5. To me, that's screaming extended. We're going to have to pack our patience on this one. I don't mind getting in, but it's going to need a pullback. It looks like it wants to take out that $0.50 right now, though. So that's that trade. I also got into NXXT. This one feels like a flat top break waiting to happen above 225. I've gotten in at 24s. I've set up some dip trades over here to account for a nice up move, but we'll see if we can get something on this one. NXXT is the ticker, but look at REPL go. This one's certainly not repelling, but more like propelling, baby, to the high side. 394. We just got into the high of the day. Let's set up another beak wetter at this on this level. We're going to put 97s and see what comes of that. Okay, BKKT. Several outs on this one, but now it's zigging and zagging, right? I was looking for a VWAP hold. We're getting a VWAP hold, but it's not exactly rocketing back to the upside. So anything below the volume weighted average price, which is currently 17.15, or around 17, mid-teens, anything below that, it ends the trade for me because it will have been a breach of my rules trading these small cap gappers below the volume weighted average price. So let's see if this one wants to rocket back up. I've layered some order here in the 80s to see if we can take a bite out of that one. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. So those are the ones I've got on at the moment. NXXT not doing much. We still haven't taken any prints on that one, but I'm optimistic. Going back to GEMI over here. Okay, now this is why I didn't want to punch in at the $0.50. A little extended to me. It looked like on the 5, and I think I'm pretty accurate on that because here it comes back into that whole dollar level. I'm talking about 26s. It is finding some support at 26, but that $26 level is still $1 higher than where the 10 EMA on the 5 is, which is still hanging out at that $25 area. Now, you could have done one thing here. You could have punched in right at 26 and put a super tight stop below 26. Lo and behold, though, we did breach 26. So it's currently a candle of indecision with an equidistant upper and lower wick. We'll see if this one wants to find trend and head either back to the upside or come back in at a more reasonable level where we can pick this one up. I'm talking about GEMI up 11 and change. So that's my look right now, Joey. I'm looking at setting up on these bad boys here, but there's nothing, really capturing my attention that much at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in the same boat there, my guy. I'm looking at Tesla, Los Pollos, good call out there. It's slowly starting to grind higher, so we'll wait for one more pullback. Right at that 2010, we did get a hold there, and I didn't get a fill or anything along those lines, so I'll post up there at 2010 just in case we do get somewhat of another pullback and the market doesn't want to climb higher. But
what,
Jeff, ride Noor. Locked in a huge win on my BBI $5 calls. 10 October 24, 25 calls picked up 40 contracts for $4,000, now sitting at $12,400 plus 208%. Big thanks to Joey Options for the mentorship that helped me size in and win big. My friend, I've done nothing. It's all you. Trust me. I don't punch any keys. I don't tell you what size to take or anything along those lines, man. It's 110% you. Pat yourself on the back. Continue to do that great work. And don't forget, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer or anything like that. Win big, lose big. Ride that wave, continue to rock and roll, and then when you realize that things aren't working out how you want, you size down a little bit. But 40 contracts, I love seeing that. That's big time size. AMD 163 breakout, says my guy Pathic. I did take that hammer candle. Tesla 3 minutes, says Gorev. Bang. He's in on that one. It's starting to work out there. So you're rocking and rolling, man. What a grind, what a grind.
Okay.
You got to take the shots. Hey, I got to take it. I got to give it to our guy Gorev, man. He's a shooter. He'll take those shots. It doesn't even matter what it is. He's involved in it. So good luck there, my friend. Yeah, and continue. And he's in UNH as well, too.
That's crazy.
So bang. Oh, man. Who is it? Pathic raking in 5-digit days. Gorev rocking money. I'll send you guys my email. You can e-transfer me a boy a little something. No, I'm obviously playing, man. Obviously, enjoy that. And as I often say, don't spend it all in one place. All right, so what else do we got going on? This is what we were going to do here, Sharif, before I send it back to you, my brother, is... What's on, brother? The Hulk Hogan, the Hulkster. Yeah, we lost 12-4 last night, so I'm just riding away. Yeah, what a butt whooping we took. Yeah, NVDA, that was not fun, man. I was so mad. It wasn't even funny. Soundhound looking pretty good. INTC, RGTI. Ooh, okay, Rigetti. You want to stick with the strong names. IONQ is what I had my eyes on. CLSK, CleanSpark over here, continuing its move. What has Palantir been doing? Oh, okay, we got a little bit of a signal there. No volume supporting it. Maybe we'll wait for a pullback to about 50% of that wick. It feels more than 50%. Then we're at a dodge there, Sharif. We're not going to be worrying about that potential long. AMD, grind, QuantumScape, what are you up to? Coming back in. Rivian, not doing too much either.
All right, guys, NXXT and XXT, let's just call it that, did flat top break for now. We've got several prints. I know they're super convoluted. They're overlapping because they are tight. You know, they're awfully close together. But let's keep an eye out on this one. I still have ambitions for this one to try to take out the high. The high is 239. But let's go back to GEMI over here because it seems to have found a bit of support. Double bottoming into 26. Can we get some continuation? Now, see, it hasn't respected 26 strictly, and that's what concerns me. So if I put an out at 26, I might get wicked out, but that's the cost of doing business. That is the cost of doing business over here. So we do have a lower high and a lower low on this current candle. So maybe I shouldn't be so gung-ho to jump in, all right? It looks like it is holding at 26, but the candle pattern is not exactly a glowing endorsement to go long at the moment. Guys, I know the position board is out. We're on it right now. We'll hopefully get that for you guys as soon as possible. Production team is taking care of it. Trust me, we know about it. Trust me, bro. We know about it. Okay? Here we go, Joey. We're continuing to watch GEMI as it works its way back into that 26 mid area, into 2630s. It looks like over here there is a bit of a seller at 30. You know what, Joey, bro? Let's give GEMI a try. No, I would be breaching my rules, bro. It's extended. It's extended. I want to go long, but it's extended.
I like that 3 potential bar play, but it could fail.
Well, absolutely, it could fail, especially with this current candle with a lower high.
I know it's going to go. Right? It's going to go. I think
it's hard to know, Joey. It is hard to know. You try to make your best guess on the level 2, but that also can be a little bamboozling as well. Here it is, though. Let's go back quickly over here to NXXT. Still taking out some prints. How's my REPL trade doing? Well, it's coming back down. We've got REPL at. I got taken out of BKKT. Seriously? That's weird. Okay. We got REPL at 87s. It's showing me 88, so nothing really to write home about there. Yeah, okay, we're just going to pack our patience right now. Everything else is slowing down a little bit, so not much to report on at the moment. But I do want to get back into BKKT. I think I was pushed out of this one a little prematurely, perhaps with a bit of a too tight of a stop. It was not below the volume-weighted average price. So I'm going to work my way back into this, Joey. I'll send it back to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we got another Dumbo Things Films. My friend, anything for you. All right, Joe, can you look at NVDA options chain and see where the more upside or downside to? I have 66 calls, 35K in profit right now. Trying to find where to exit. All right, man, you guys are rolling in the dough, man. You guys, all right, you guys are looking at rolling. All right, now let's see what we got going on from the chain this week's expiration cycle. I'm curious to when they expire. I mean, if you're 35K in the money, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't be against taking a little bit of profit, locking that in, and enjoying the rest of your September. But there it is, 85 strike may be in the works, right? So that 182.5. 185. Let's actually kind of correlate it with the chart here as well too, so we can see. We're going to get an in-depth look because you got some cash on the table, and we want to have the best idea possible to try to paint the clearest picture. Now, where did we knock into? 184. So we slightly rejected the previous all-time high. We're starting to form an inside day here, but I wouldn't be surprised considering this engulfing print. Like, the thing is, though, so I'm taking a couple steps back here, is that the volume isn't, it's strong, it's good, it's displaying itself, but I would want to see it more isolated, considering the amount of volume that we put in via contracts yesterday and even shares during that breakout. I would like to see a little bit more there as you punch through. I was thinking that you get that open above 185 and then continue its move, but now we're sitting on an inside day. Personally, I don't know your expiration cycle, but I'm still, if it's further dated out, if it's a leap, whatever it may be, I'm holding this. I'm continuously holding. Lock a little bit of profit in. You're selling near the highs. You can't ever go wrong with that. Sell 20%, 30%, or whatever you're comfortable with. Hold the rest for the all-time high break, which I think it's almost inevitable it's going to happen at some point. You just don't know when specifically. Sure.
All right, guys, RCAT. You guys keep yelling about RCAT, so let's take a look at RCAT. This is, it's a repeat offender. It's one that we know about, one that shows up multiple times. It had a decent day yesterday right from the open, got up into about that 1170 area, and today having an even better day, up into 1290. RCAT is the ticker I'm talking about. And this one has got a lot of strength, man, and a lot of respect for the 10 EMA, where it just made its way down now right into that 1265 area. So this could be an interesting area to pick it up. It certainly was when it picked it up, when it got into the 10 EMA at 1105. It was a great pickup there, and then right back up it went. So we'll be keeping tabs on that. I think Windows is one of the best operating systems ever. It never glitches. It's so good. So we'll keep. Hold on. Bro, it's if Microsoft was only based on Windows, this thing would be like a $10 million market cap.
Yeah,
it's hot garbage.
So you're calling it a small cap, super micro cap.
Okay. Well, obviously Azure is what it is.
Yeah,
right?
Azure it is what it is.
But
you like
Windows
iOS more?
So bad.
You like iOS more?
It leaps and bounds better, bro. It doesn't glitch like this. Anyway. All right,
Rant over.
Yeah, rant over. It's just so crap. If I was Katina, man, I'd be dropping S-bombs all over the place right now. But yeah, this is it's no good. Anyway, so we're keeping tabs on that, guys. Nothing for me to report on. I got back into BKKT. I'm looking for this one to hold VWAP. It does seem like it's putting in some lower highs, but it also has these bottoming tail candles that keep making me feel that the buyers are stepping in at this level. But it's not cooperating at the moment, so I may end up going 0 for 2 on this one, despite the fact that we had several beak wetters nicely to the upside, but it does feel like the sellers possibly are in control now. If it loses VWAP, that will be my last trade on it, though. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on at the moment. Nothing else doing on this one, so we'll continue to report to you guys. But just keeping my eye on REPL, BKKT, and NXXT, Joey.
All right, beautiful stuff. Okay, shoot me straight, as my guy obviously likes, straight shooters only. I think SMCI is going to moon, 50 call, 10 contracts, average $1.40, October 10th expiry. What are we thinking? Darius Golden, man. I'm glad to see you back up in here. $50 call options, Let's see what we got going on this expiration cycle. Nothing substantial from a size standpoint. Now let's take a look at the actual technicals on that. What is that? All right, let's see. Boom. We're gonna go over to the daily. And if you think this thing can moon, okay, all right. So I don't hate it. but I don't love it either, right, Darius? So essentially what I'm looking at here is that you have this bottom, you have this consolidation V move to the top side. Now let me give you some other examples of this specific pattern that I'm referring to. Is it as clean as the other ones? Absolutely not. But let's just do this here quick. So you have the sorry, Sharif, bear with me a minute, my friend. No, I'm rocking and rolling here, so give me a couple minutes, and then boom, and then we're gonna go rock and roll here again. So this is essentially what I'm getting at, is that you get this V-shaped stuff, right? Okay, so now let's go and look at some other examples, and that's gonna be in the likes of Tesla. All right, so we went over this a long time ago. Same identical pattern, right? So let's zoom in over here. Consolidation, V bottom consolidation, leg higher. All right, want me to give you one more example? Okay, cool, I will. So there it is, another example. Consolidation, V-shaped pattern, consolidation, boom, you move higher. Is that going to be the instance in SMCI? I don't know. You have to be patient, wait and see. Where is your risk profile? Now let's go back and take a look at the actual underlying asset you're referring to. I don't know where you're in from. You have those 50s, so you're buying them out the money. I wouldn't give it very much more room. 43 bucks, I'm out of there. It's either gonna climb higher or it's gonna pull back into the middle of this range and potentially head south there, my friend.
All right, Bovin keeps yelling about ADVM, and he's accurate, man. This is looking awfully good at the moment, so let's pull it up, ADVM. Here it is. And it's right at $5, $5.19 high. The 10 EMA is at 450, VWAP's at 480. So it's one of those anomalies where the 10 EMA is below the volume weighted average price as a result of the quick price ascent. But it's doing the dance with absolutely no undergarments at the moment with that $5 area. So I'm continuing to watch here, Bub, and this is not going to be my entry. I have to wait for a technical level to come in or for it to clearly defend $5, which it kind of hasn't at the moment because it's down into the mid-90s, right? So we'll continue to watch this one as the price action develops, but I'm very interested in executing. Sorry, Grant. Yeah, I know. I have tendencies. So yeah, ADVM is the ticker. It's done about 4 1/3 million shares. There it goes, right back above 5. Don't forget, it's a 519 HOD on ADVM, but I have to digress because BKKT just popped up into 60 and I got the beak wet there. So we got back into this one. So let's see what BKKT has to offer here. Showing me 64s. I'm waiting at 63. So it'd be nice if it could print, but the spread is what it is at the moment. So we'll keep tabs on that. There is the print. Now I'm waiting next at 73. So let's go ahead and put some more beak wetters on BKKT. A bit to the high side over here. Maybe I shouldn't overstay my welcome a little bit too much, but we're going to throw in that order right there, Joey. So we'll hope for the best there. Back to now ADVM, as we have to watch the price action unfold here. I came back. I found it below 5. I watched for another second. It's back above 5. My point's been made. It has not cleared 5 by a substantial amount or for long enough to say, yeah, you know, the buyers really are stepping in at 5. I feel comfortable getting in here. So I'm going to continue to let the price action develop a little bit more. Bovin, I don't know how you feel about that on ADVM. Here comes VWAP. Here comes VWAP. We're losing 90. So VWAP on ADVM is 82 or 83. Can't quite tell. Here we are, 85. Do we find support here? We're 83s. And the buyers are stepping in now, momentarily anyway, back up into 86. So keep your eye on ADVM if this is kind of your thing. I'm talking about these small cap gappers. I got to go back to NXXT though, because this one we did quite well on, but it is coming back down. So I'm going to draw the line here at 211 because that's where the volume weighted average price is. It's back at 13s. So I will draw the line at 11 for what's it, NXXT, which we will get stopped out of if it loses. So let's go ahead. And what?
Why? What's up? Okay, what do you... Okay, your mic, you got an issue. You got mic issues. Yeah, all right, sorry. Hey, all right, let's go here. Yeah, I don't know either. So can we look at NUAI? Vaughn Clark. Absolutely. Let's take this off here because now we got that picture in the picture in the picture, and that's never a good sign. I'm posted up on Tesla here at TSLA at 2009. See if we can catch something. It's starting to bounce and move in our favor. Los Polios, hopefully you're still sitting in that pullback. There was the opportunity to get in. Now let's take a look at NUAI, New Energy Digital. Okay, so I mean, from a daily standpoint, you are bouncing off of those lows. Man, okay, this is very interesting stuff. I mean, that's a big time move here, 32 cents, all the way up to almost $1. You're almost getting that 250% return right there, a little bit more. Not too bad of a look. Is that going to continue? Maybe, possibly, but I don't love how that print is closing. You have buyers pushing price all the way up here, and then sellers step in and push it back down, almost closing it as a hammer. If sellers continuously push it lower and it closes as a tighter hammer, watch out. Maybe look to take some off there. 82 cents could be your potential out. Sharif, did you want to finish what you're going over there?
Yeah, I'm punching into GEMI over here because at the 10 EMA, I'm going to risk about 15 pennies. 25.24 is my out on this one. So we're going to do it live on that, and we'll see what we get. What do we got there? On GEMI, we got 44s. It's showing me 50. Say less. We'll see. We'll take out some there, and then we'll layer some orders for a possible price spike into a nice area high. So we're going to give this an opportunity here on GEMI, despite the fact that it was kind of an aggressive retracement to the downside, and not going to lie.
Oh, wow.
So, let's throw in some orders there. Let's see if we can get a nice price spike back up. Keeping an eye, obviously, on ADVM. This one lost VWAP quite aggressively. It found support at 450, which is where the volume weighted average price is. And then it's got basically the red candle that just closed, this one right here, ended up closing as like a really elongated hammer candle. And it's below VWAP right now, so I'm going to continue to watch this one. It looks like 450 was the level, though. Not a bad look. Let's quickly look at our friend GEMI. Did we get any prints? We just got one. The spread on this one, like many of these small cap gappers today, is really not to my liking. So we're getting in trouble a little bit here with the spread. So we'll have to tighten things up a little bit on these trades, so we don't have. No problem. So we're not going to go to Adara for crypto. We'll keep it over here as the boys in production get things fixed up there on the mics. Joey.
All right, man. Yeah, so let's take a look at this contract right here. Yes, this is a options contract chart. You go back in time, obviously, now it's at 0 days to expiration, but you could just see the liquidity within some of these names here. There's a lot of open interest at that. There's a lot of open interest at that 668 strike price expiring this evening, and you can see the liquidity, and people love trading these. I mean, if you're a theta seller, then by all means, you're having a great time. So at some point yesterday, this was worth $1, now worth a measly 14 cents. So, ow, party P. Yeah, congratulations on those UNH calls. Let's pull those up for you. What expiration are you in there, my friend? I know you're absolutely, you're almost like an ATM machine over there at this point. You got something there?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
You're almost like an ATM machine at this point there, Party P. Let's find something that's really liquid. I think it's going to be this one here, volume 350 strike. Let's pull it up, boom, boom, and see what we got going on from a liquidity standpoint. It always goes to the 4 hour, so we'll zoom in on the 5 minute, and off to the races go those contracts. At one point, we're $2. This is where the power of the options come into play, Sharif. Like, you have a 145% move in the same session on those contracts. $2.61, now trading up to $6.50. That's 2 hours and 10 minutes, and you're experiencing that type of return. But don't forget, you can get the inverse of that, and that's the power of what we got going on in the options world.
All right, man. We're doing it live on BKKT, but it's just not holding trend. So I'm going to have to get out of this one. It's coming back down into the volume weighted average price. This is the level, previous price action level. I'm talking about 1720. It clearly defended that area, and it's dropping below it. So BKKT got no respect for these levels, little bugger. So we're going to get stopped out of this one. In fact, I'm just going to flatten out here. I'm not going to let it bleed anymore. Also, GEMI also coming back in, losing the 10 EMA on the 5. Not going to give this one any room either. We're going to get stopped out here as well. We're not going to let this one bleed and get into trouble like we did on Friday. So letting that one go, keeping my eye on ADVM, but there's just no continuation. So that's the way that the market is. Sometimes they just come in waves of strength, and then sometimes there's waves of weakness. Currently, we're experiencing waves of weakness, so that's the trade. And we'll just have to kind of accept that as it is. So I'm going to keep my eye on the ones that are actually doing okay. I'm talking about NXXT and REPL. Those are the two that I'm involved in right now. I see you guys talking about ATAI. Let me have a look at that. What's happening here? There's a whole lot happening today, Joey.
What's going on, brother?
Whole lot happening over there.
Text.
Yeah, not bad. ATAI, what's the volume profile on this? Nice, I don't have any volume on it. That's interesting. No worries there. It's just like everything is working. Aces today, Joey. Absolute aces. No, I'm exaggerating. Let me take off this one over here, put in ATAI, see if we can get the volume. Yeah, 11.5 million shares. There we go. This is actually not a bad looking name. Let's include the pre-market action on this.
All right.
Yeah, not too bad at all. Okay, so we're going to keep an eye here on ATAI because there's not a whole lot strong. This one looks very strong and respectful of previous areas. Talking about this area 530, that was resistance, ended up being support. Here, we have a very similar area in that 540 area or mid 40s because we kind of consolidated there for maybe about 25, 30 minutes before breaking out into that 560-ish area. So ATAI, certainly going to be in focus here, and we're going to take off that hot garbage BKKT and put ATAI in its place. Is this a Nasdaq or a NYSE name? Are you going to be able to tell me that? Thank you, computer. Good job, buddy.
Hold on, give it a bang. There,
yeah. We're going to give the computer a little tap on the back there.
Yeah.
From its regular scheduled programming.
There you go.
So yeah, this is not a bad looker at all here, Joey, man.
No.
12 million shares thereabouts. We're breaking out into high level. So let's go ahead and set up a dip trade on this one. It's going to go down into an area it may not come out. Look, it's breaking out as we speak, man. It's taking out into 63, 64. So this dip trade here, maybe into 545, maybe ill-fated and may not get printed at all. So let's just go ahead and throw that on, see if we can get it. If not, that's just the cost of doing business. Joey, what are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm looking at capital E, man. Capital E, thank you. Sharif, $2 super, $2 Canadian. $2 Canadian. Couple snow peso right there. Thank you very much for that one there, my friend. Rich boy selling that. For sure, looking at it, it is selling that for sure on today's session. But I mean, it's been on an absolute monster run. So yeah, keep your eyes out there. We're still posted up on Tesla to see if we can get 2010s. Zero chance I'm chasing it. I like what Roger Noonan is saying. It's a little bit more of a choppy session. There goes the Nasdaq finally putting in a new low. Like, look at the consolidation that it put in before it decided to find a definitive path there. Starting to head in towards some key support levels. I would not be selling this support just yet. You obviously want to see the volume step in and then wait for that pullback. Maybe you get that continuation to the downside. With that being said, this stink bid here, I won't call it that, but this bid on Tesla 2010, I'm at 2009s actually via TSLL. Waiting for that to come in, and if it comes in aggressively, I might just remove it because there might be some more downside. I do like that hammer candle, but there it goes, right? Like, we're looking at some UNH calls, bang. From the trough to that peak right here, you're up 244%, big time. But then you just sell literally $90 just like that, bang. Gone within that specific contract. So keep that in mind, guys. Lock in those profits, but even so, big time moves from an intraday standpoint. If you guys want to go over some other options names and we'll do some more options charting, we can always construct some things as well too. What I'm essentially working on here, let's pull it up. We're going to pull on the strategy builder, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the strategies. We're going to set up a vert right here, a little Uzi vert to see what we got going on. I was gonna quiz you, see if you knew what a vertical was, Sharif, but
a vertical spread?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you said vertical, I said vertical spread. I must know, right?
Oh my God!
Hey,
let's go. What have you been doing on
I haven't been reading. I've been sitting.
Yeah,
I've been sitting and listening.
I'm not gonna believe that, but
I swear to God, bro. I swear to God, I would not lie to you about that.
I know you wouldn't. I'm only messing with you, pulling your tail there.
Can I show you something that infuriates me?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Hey, man, that's
don't show him this, bro. This is beautiful right here.
Yeah.
Stop out like a goofy, like an absolute goofy. By manual stop, by the way.
Manual.
And then room.
Oh, so you punched that
up
out
a doll. Yeah, I flattened out.
Man.
I flattened out. because of BKKT, and then just right up it goes. That's pure goofy trade.
They were watching you. That's why. That's why you got that there. Yeah. So
pure goofy.
As for the vert here, guys, let's just take a look. And actually, no, never mind. Get off this UNH garbage. I shouldn't say garbage. Let's go to this Bitcoin garbage over here. Is actually what I should be saying. We'll get back to our vert spread. And we're going to construct something just so you can see the risk profile on this one. We're going to give it a little bit more room here. We'll go a couple points. So essentially, that's what we're going to be locking in. Let's take a look at the profile right now and see what we got going on. So the probability of profit, your POP, that's something that we always look at here, is 40%, right? But you got to look at your max loss and then your max return. So essentially, you're at a 2-to-1 profit target, right? The profit factor right there, 1.9 to be exact. And that's the beauty of some of these vertical spreads, is that it doesn't necessarily have to be that way, right? What happens is, what you can do is that when the thesis actually starts to work out, what do? You just you buy back your short call, and then that's going to allow you to have that unlimited appreciation within the contracts. Obviously, there's time restraints as well too, but what you can do is that when it starts to work, you just pay the difference. You can roll over and pay the difference between those contracts, but you initially paid a little bit less to construct this system right here. $131 of potential profit. Your max loss is $69, 70 bucks. That's the max you can lose. You cannot lose anything more than that. That's the worst case scenario, is those options are going to expire worthless, and that's just a basic vertical spread on IBIT.
All right, bro. Sick. Young and King Road. King Road. Is that Richmond Hill?
That's
Richmond Hill, bro. Right?
Young and King. That's
Young
like.
and King.
I feel like that's like Stouffville. That's up north, man.
It's up north. I remember King is like obviously not downtown King. Yeah. All right. Well, that's where I'm going tonight then, Joey. We'll have to see what the situation is.
I feel like that's like it's not really quite Innisfil yet, but like in that Holland Landing maybe.
No. Innisfil is a bit more west, because you got to take the 400 for that.
Yeah.
You would know about that, because that's your stomping ground. Bradford's right around those parts.
Yeah.
All right. If you're not from Toronto, sorry for that little sidetrack there. But guys, I'm keeping an eye on ATAI. Where are we going tonight, Ozan? I'm coming to your place in Dallas, brother. And I want to go to the Ford Center. Neil, it's called the Ford Center, right? The Cowboys training ground. It's called Ford Center. What do they call it? Ford Place? Ford Center? Pretty sure it's called the Ford Center.
Shout out Dallas.
Yeah. I want to come there, Ozan. I heard they got a 5-star restaurant up in that place.
Oh.
And you know what they say, right? The host greets. So you'll be the host, Ozan. And then you can come stay at Joe's place. That'll be my payback to you.
I thought you were picking him up. I thought you were getting him from the...
Oh, man, that's great. Shout out to OG Ozan, man. Gotta go beat up someone or alpha. No, man, that's how you find yourself catching charges. And trust me, you'll catch them pretty quick around here. I will pay 100% for the food. That's pure cap, Ozan. It's a 5-star restaurant. God knows what the bill is. But thank you. You're a kind soul, brother. Make sure to, if you're ever in the Toronto-ish area, and by that I mean, you're in the Buffalo area. I don't know what you'd be doing in Buffalo, but anywhere near Toronto, man, make sure to reach out, Ozan. And we'd love to have you, obviously, come and visit the office, take a look at things and stuff. You've been a viewer for a long time. Shout out to the OG.
Yeah.
All right, Joey.
Yeah.
REPL is doing okay, but it seems to be bull flagging here south of 4, so I went to beat quickly at 95s. I have a sneaking suspicion this one might lose trend, so we'll keep tabs on that. Same kind of look with NXXT. I was very biased. This one had a flat top breakout through 2 1/4. It did break out, but didn't have that continuation. So if it loses VWAP in the 212 area, that's going to be the end of the trade. But I've been waiting for a long time here for a dip trade on ATAI, and at least for the moment, it seems to have maybe found a bit of a local top. 563 high, coming dip back down into the mid 550s. I'm waiting in the mid 540s for a dip trade on this one. I'd like to see how this one sets up. It's got respect for prior areas of resistance or support, holding them as a new level. So if that's the case, then I want to use this 545 area as a base in order to get in. So we'll keep tabs on that as well. The OG Bovin bringing to my attention another small cap gapper that's got a good move on it at the moment. Hopefully this one holds up a little bit better than ADVM. And obviously I'm not holding anybody to anything because nobody knows how these ones are going to act. But Z ZSPC breaking out. It's got a topping tail candle in the pre-market. It looks like an institutional level print at 805, but it has about 170,000 shares for that candle. Just to give you by a comparison, this current candle has about 2.5 million shares. So I would put a lot more stock into the price action of this current candle than the 8 a.m. candle. Alas, we are still below that prior or that pre-market high. That pre-market high is 232, with the official high of day being 231. That can't be by accident, as shorts or profit takers are probably looking at wetting the beak there. We're talking about ZSPC. It's up about 44%. I'm going to keep my eye on this one as it comes back into local area highs. We're going to Adair.
And keep an eye on VRT, Vertiv Holdings. This one dropping. Microsoft announcing new cooling system for their AI chips, reportedly. This came out again about 5 minutes ago, but VRT's been dropping more or less since the open, so lots of weakness in Vertiv, near day's lows. And to be fair, though, still well above yesterday's lows. It looks like we gapped up on this. Back to you.
Wow, look at that rocket up.
Rocket. Mike P, what's up, brother? Yeah, ram along. I love. Okay. So you're over there surfing. Glad Mike P, the riders in the house, man. I don't know what it would be without that guy here, Mike P, big rider, big rider. Yeah, that guy,
get it, Mike.
I would love to meet that guy in person, man.
He's got good vibes.
Yeah, he's a character.
I like
him.
him.
There's no questioning that. All right, let's see what else we got going on. I removed my bid on Tesla. That thing's gone. I was just below this support level range in case there was a wick, and then you get that 20 cents to move to the top side. So let's see what we got going on. I wouldn't be surprised if it's just a grind. Look at what the Nas is up to here. Grinding. So yeah, just pure eastbound, and I can't even say eastbound and down at this point there, Neil. But one thing to note. Kenny, like Kenny Powers? Yeah, I know you're a big Kenny Powers guy. So over there, TQs, sideways movement. Top end of the range you're selling, bottom end of the range you're buying into. Let's see how long this consolidation is going to go on throughout the session. I'm looking at Amazon still. I have my eyes on that one. You got the pop above the volume weighted average price, and then you're heading back down. So keep an eye out on that one. Natalia, what's going on, Natalia? Can you look at NVDA? Do you think it struggles at 180 level due to OI? Yeah, so we were going over this. I forget who it was, posted a super chat. We're going over that. I think it's only a matter of time until you hit that the all-time highs. It's just when. So what you want to keep an eye out for, and I like that you pointed out the open interest, is where is that going to roll over? If and when it does, or if they're going to just allow those to expire worthless, and then you can kind of see them lift or decrease on the following expiration cycle, and that can tell you a lot. The size is reduced, then maybe you have a little bit more free roaming to the top side. Size increases, then you can look at it as a potential call wall. When you run into those levels, look for the hedgies to step in, sellers to step in, and push price below those specific levels so that those contracts can expire worthless there, Shri.
All right, Joey, good luck, good luck. Just working my way into ZSPC over here. We got 17s on. We've wet the beak all the way up into 33s, but it is coming down a little bit over here. So let's see if we can take some profits at these levels as we pop back into the 20s. Again, we've got 17s on at the moment, but it's not exactly rocketing back up. So let's see if we can get some more out over here. Oh, God, I love this software. Boom. Right up into the level again. Nice, nice, nice. Going right back into area highs. 27 showing up. Not a bad look right now on ZSPC. Sorry to my American friends out there. There we go. Popping into 27s. Let's go ahead and wait at 28s for a beak wet, and then we're going to wait above the high of the day. I'm going to wait at 34s. There we go. So we'll see if we can get that showing the $0.25. I'm trying to focus on this one now, as this one is a lot closer to the day high and a lot more new of a trade, right? The volume really just started coming in at 1140, so it wasn't doing the majority of the volume prior to that. So, you know, you feel like maybe the best part of the trade is not behind it quite yet. So at the moment, we've got 17 zigging and zagging with that $0.25 though at the moment. REPL is coming down a little bit, so I'm going to have to take care of that. Let's see where the volume weighted average price is. It's at 78. How many shares do we have left on REPL? No, we're good to go. We can definitely let this one come down a little bit. So I'm going to wait here at 77s for a possible add. That's my look on REPL, but NXXT got stopped out of that. So we did give back a little bit. I was out of the majority of it, but we will give back a little bit on this one as it did lose VWAP. So yeah, that's kind of the play today. Let's focus on this one though. ZSPC still hanging out in the high to mid 20s, looking for continuation into the 30s. We've got a candle of indecision right now. So it's got basically no body, and basically the candle is dominated by upper and lower wicks and almost no body. So there's currently, at least in the current candle, an equilibrium between buyers and sellers. Where do we get out though? Well, I'm going to get out if it loses the volume weighted average price, which is showing me 213 or 212, in and around that area. So, yeah, so let's just wait here. I mean, there's nothing for me to do other than to wait to see which way the price action manifests into. Did we get anything over here on ATAI? We did not. But we're still putting in 2 red candles. If we make a first 5-minute candle, we'll make a new high on ATAI. I'm going to punch into this one. But ZSPC coming back down into the 20s, so I have to manage this one. I'll let ATAI automatically fill if it comes back into my level, but I won't give anything back here on ZSPC, so I'm moving my stop to above the volume weighted average price, Joey.
All right, good luck there. Yeah, thank Rivian for pointing this one out. Google, yeah, this one's definitely off to the races here, guys, starting to climb higher. Right, okay, so now we're north of OP opening price. That is 5-minute opening drive. Look at this candle. Boom, you get that move for those orb traders, but right off the bottom, you get that indecision at that low through some key support level. You see this, and then bam, 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 you're off to the races there. So really, really good look. Yeah, we'll take a look at STRL for you right now. STRL, not very liquid. Sterling Infrastructure. Let's go to the daily. Oh, who are these guys? Do you know this company? Sharif? Sorry, I know if you're busy there anyways. So 274% from those April lows. I don't even know anything about this name from the technical standpoint. It speaks enough for itself. Wait for those pullbacks to look to get involved. Thomas Kondo, Sharif, is Katina Man long BBAI?
I have no idea, bro. He's not here.
Level scary? No, he doesn't know. I think he's long from like $3 or $4 or something along those lines. $3.50. So there you go. Not at $8. I think he was talking about his friend who had that there. So not him specifically. SPY is putting in a hammer candle around these lows, but you're not getting that bounce. You have now closed in on more than 50 to 60% of this wick. So I'm going to suspect some more downside, Sharif.
All right, man. Continue to watch ZSPC over here. Nothing doing. It's continuing to be a candle of indecision. I did get a print up into the high 28s, but there's no continuation. So I'm going to have to pack my patience on this one. I've got 14s on, nothing doing at the moment. So we'll just continue to hang out on that. Let's go to ATAI. This one did show me a green candle momentarily. Now it's red and a doji candle, but it did breach prior bar high. But if you got in here, you're already out of the money. So this is a 2-candle red pullback right now on ATAI. What I can do is I can place it at prior bar low, which is 53s. That'll be risking about 5 pennies. Let's go ahead and do just that. So I'm going to get in here, and I'm going to give it to about 52s. All right, here we go. 552, and then we'll have to give it a little bit of room here to the high side. There we go. So we'll just do that, and then we'll layer some orders into the 60s. So that's what I'm looking at there. We'll see if we can get continuation on this one. Yeah, nothing else. Nothing else for me I've got over here, guys. If there are any new small cap gappers, tag myself, Joseph.
All right, I'll take. Hey, send it over here. We'll take it.
Myself or Joseph, and let us know exactly what you guys are looking at, and then we'll cover it for you. But right now, got a few trades on ATAI, REPL, and ZSPC. ZSPC is sort of the most indeterminate, I would say, of the bunch because it's just got a candle of indecision that I can't seem to make out. Chart hustle, TDOC is not a small cap gapper, brother. Oza and Reddit, I'll take a look at that for you as soon as things calm down. But brother, I got to focus on these small cap gappers. So if you guys have small cap gappers, just throw them my way. Otherwise, wait until everything slows down a bit, and then Joey and I will cover exactly what you guys want us to look at, Joey.
Absolutely. So who was it? Oh, our guy City Boy 305. No, I don't see a call wall at that $9, right? So we can even go over to the puts. Nothing really there. Open interest, 38 contracts. So like essentially no one is short here. No volume there. All the open interest lays at that $7.750. So that's your breakout zone. And then this is nothing, right? Like I guess if you want to look at it relative to what these other strikes are, it's about a third, a little bit less than that. So I wouldn't be overly too worried about it. One thing to note is that when names are on big time runs, just don't expect them to continue. You want to be patient and wait for those pullbacks, and that's BBAI. There's a key support level over there, so you want to keep an eye out on this one here. If it does reject that 863, that's where you're going to look for a pullback, and then you get that momentum movement as you punch through some of those key resistance levels there, all right? So keep that in mind. Tesla not doing much, Nasdaq either. Let's go over some volume scans here, see if we see anything that we like. What's BM&R up to? All right, so 55, 59, nothing there. BM&R coming in, still holding up relatively well. But guys, guess what? It's time for Neil's lesson of the day.
That could not have come any sooner.
Thank you, everybody. Well, want to make sure we got the lesson of the day in, but I was locked outside, so I was knocking on the door, and no one was letting me in there. I don't know if you heard that, but wanted to make sure we got this one in here. Next time someone just come and you won't have to worry about it. But I don't knock like this little tappity tap tap nonsense. Like you pound on that door when you're trying to get in. But if you're trying to get into trades, sometimes you want to have a bit of a setup. Like UNH today, and we'll get to Big Bear AI. And I said this last week. I know I said this last week. We care about more closing prices than anything else. But when it comes to a continuation trade, there might not be a catalyst on a stock. But when you look at something that you perceive to have maybe made a bottom, like say UNH, or is turned and you're just favoring the long, it was down a couple of days, and you're favoring the long because of this reversal day. There's something about the prior day high that to me, it's not just where it closes, it's also where the sellers won on an up day. Like the sellers didn't win until, or at least take control until 342.5. There's a couple of things you can do with this. Now the easy one, the obvious one is to just play the breakout. Oh, so, you wait for it to break out that prior high, you just simply take the long. But there's another nuance, and I'll get to it with BBAI, where it's almost as if it's two trades in one. Because you've got what you think is a bullish reversion play, or like reversal play, let's just call it, where it was down for a couple of days in a row, initiates an up day, and you're just looking for a continuation of that. Well, the other side of it is when it tries to go down, and think of the other side of that coin. Well, if the sellers finally won at 42.50, or that's the argument that you can make about the afternoon, well, what happened? It also consolidated off the bottom. Which one had more pressure? Was there more pressure on the top or the bottom? Obvious answer, there was more pressure on the top. This bottom never really got tested at 340, except of a couple of really small dips. The top certainly got tested. So you now have an opportunity knowing, hey, well, we don't know what to make of this $340 level because it didn't put any real tests in. But you should have it eyeballed for what we call the old dip and rip. And when you get that initial move right at 930, breaking the low, and then right away, it regains that bid. Now, it's typically the prior bar is where your entry you want to be in, because it's hard to say, like you're just going to sit in front of a level that you're not sure about, but it's that prior bar in here, about 34.20. It happens to be VWAP as well, and you get that nice continuation play where you're not necessarily waiting for it to break, 340, that half dollar level, that 342.5, or the pre-market high. You can maybe jump in here, get a good price, be able to get in a little bit earlier. It's also around VWAP, and that's your signal. You're wetting the beak, you're allowing yourself to build into position. Now, UNH might not have been the cleanest example of this, but I would venture to say BBAI gave you a pretty good example of something along these lines. Because BBAI was much, much stronger into that prior high. Like it showed you, if you look at the afternoon levels, you've got your high, you've got your dip into $7. So came in today thinking, hey, long above the $7 level. But the dip and rip, in this particular case, did not even care about that low. If you got it pre-market off 7, fantastic. But as usual, when the move happens early, and the move off 7 was certainly early, there's that profit takers. Maybe some people profit taking from the dip buy yesterday. They got themselves 10, 15%. Maybe it's the old, hey, they're going to sell it off a little bit to rinse some people out before it's going to go. But it's that simple, you've got your support level, you've got your prior high. The second it dips in there, you're looking for one thing and one thing alone. Once I see this same area hold, and you can be looking at the tape, maybe you got a 1 minute bar up, maybe like 5 second, something that gives you an entry point to just hammer the long back through, and then you get your big time continuation play. I can't tell you how many times you are going to see upward trends that have this pattern. As a day trader, if it's a continuation from a trending stock the day before, oftentimes that initial push, either right off the open or an initial break at the open, then then an early fade, where it's not going to go until it dips people out a little bit. And if you're not watching for it, and you're just focused on that one stock with a dip and a particular level in mind where you like it to hold, you miss out on that trade. Like, you had to be eyeballing BBAI at either, 7 would have been ideal, but when it came right into that prior day high, if you weren't really eyeballing it, it's hard to get that dip buy into the long. And likewise with UNH, in this particular case, if you weren't looking at that dip level, it's great. If you take the breakout, you're absolutely fine. I get that. The breakout trade could speak for itself. But if you're not looking for that dip into that prior support, or at least tests lower, you might miss out on an early trade where you can jump into that thing sooner. Now, it just comes down to, do you have the bias to a continuation long in this case? If the answer is yes, and this is the stock that's a priority for yourself, and BBAI was, then you have a chance to look for that rinse to come in. As long as it holds your level, great, and then you can sniper yourself in. Because those are the types of entries that you can hold all morning. Sometimes you get to hold them all day long. When they've trapped some shorts, when they've gotten some weak hands out, you can see that great continuation. And I say they, obviously we know market makers and some big whale traders are doing that shakeout play oftentimes because they also believe the stock's going to run. And what can they do? If they have a ton of inventory and are long lots of shares, well, they can create enough sell pressure by, say, selling for profits and driving it down and trapping some people, knowing it'll help it explode up. If they have 1 million shares, they can sell 50, 60,000 shares, something like that off the open when there's not a lot of liquidity, make it look like it's falling apart, and then next thing you know, it's going to ramp even further because it's got some weaker hands out. It's a patented play. That's why people talk about the open being dirty. But if you're confident in the reversal and the continuation from the day before, then you can spot those levels, see when the selling stopped, and sniper right in. But you got to be looking at the level when it happens, be laser focused on that stock right at the open. There's your lesson of the day. Good luck, everybody, for the rest of the day trading. As always, be safe out there.
Whoa, thank you very much, Neil. Appreciate that. Great lesson of the day. All right, continuing to watch these. I'm in only a couple of trades now. ATAI looking like it's consolidating here a little bit near the highs into 62s. We've got one quick profit taker there, but still above the 10 EMA, nothing doing on this one. I was trying to also look at ZSPC as this one did pop up into local area highs, but it is putting in what I see as more important lower highs than higher lows. As it continues to try to defend that volume-weighted average price area at 215. Seems to be dropping off aggressively, though. GEMI also with a bit of a bull pennant look over here. I also had a couple ill-fated trades over here on this one as I tried to get in on a move back up to possibly about 26 bucks, but I got stopped out again on this one as it did wick below 25.40. But it does seem to be like a bit of a compression pattern happening with higher lows and lower highs, so it's going to be basically how this one ends up resolving. The textbooks say in the direction of the trend. We'll have to see how this one goes, Joe.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what it's looking like there. We got that inverted hammer there, City Boy 305. We're going to keep an eye out on that one, just in case it is a false break. You can see that the market is starting to come back in as well, too. So the SPY is significantly weaker than the Nasdaq, so watch out for that catch-up trade there. What was I going to do? I was looking at something specifically just to double check and make sure. So yeah, we got Powell at 12:35. So in approximately 20 something minutes, we're going to see what JP has to. Maybe what's going on here, he's going to add a little bit of influence into this market considering it's just sideways here, boom. And then we'll also take a look at the SPY to see what we've got cooking up on those ends and see how significantly weaker it is. One thing that we haven't done yet today is Sharif. Gone over the top performing sectors of the session to see what we got cooking up over there. Chef Joe, shout out to Chef Joe as well. So, all right, we're getting a little bit defensive here, my friend. The energy sector, yes, the energy sector up 2 1/4. Real estate up about 0.5%. Then we have the healthcare sector, 0.5% as well too. We may as well go over the communications. We're up 0.4, and then we have the utilities holding on by a thread, up just a little bit less than 0.1%. Now for the bottom three, we have the industrials down 1/4, Technologia down about 0.4, and then consumer discretionary down 0.6. Now as for the major averages this week, leading the way after the rate cut, yes, you've got it correct, is the IWM. Up 2.8%. Now the Nasdaq only up about 1 1/5, and then we have the Dow 0.8, and then the SPY, the weaker of the four, only up about 0.4, closer to 0.5% there. Ooh, market really starting to bleed here, guys. Let's wait, be patient, wait till Jerome comes in, he says something, we get the volume to step in that we're looking for, and then maybe we can get a little bit of a rebound play, keeping our eyes sitting on our hands, waiting for JP.
All right, there it goes again. I'm talking about GEMI right back into that highs, really showing that compression pattern that we're speaking about. It's a bit spready. It's about 8 pennies at currently. I've seen it as wide as 22, at least just from my observations. It's coming back into that $26 area again. So decisions to be made here. Now, I tried to pick this up where I thought support would be, and I completely got it wrong. So I really need to take my time to make sure my entries are sound on this. And I don't think we're quite there yet. I think we need to be more around that 40 to 50 penny. Yeah, it's been basically good all day and was good yesterday as well. Coming into that VWAP area, which is right around 12 1/4. Here we go, 12 1/3. But we were basically on an unabated downtrend from 12.90 all the way down to the current 12.30, 12.28. We really haven't caught any bids. So this could be a bit of a problem here, VWAP or not. And here we are, moments away from touching the volume weighted average price. Now we're actually at it. So be careful with RCAT if you guys are looking at getting in, because it really hasn't caught a bid. Now I think going on maybe 50 minutes, almost an hour. Almost an hour's worth of bleeding to the downside. Continuing to watch here ATAI. I don't know how I just got stopped out of that with a nice little order there. So we'll keep tabs on ATAI as well as this one comes into the 10 EMA on the 5, and that's my invitation to step into this one. And I'd be looking at DCA into 545 just based on the price action resistance initially. So that's throwing that order there. Wait at 546, looking to front run that. One I didn't really speak about at all, and it's been on my side chart the entire day, is ASTX. And this has been bleeding up in the same way that some of the stocks have been trading today are bleeding to the downside. This has been very strong at the day's high as we speak, 34.70, it's up 27 2/3%. And it's really slowed down. I mean, it had outsized moves earlier on at 9:30 at that, opening hour trade, but since that time it's been stair-stepping up in a much more orderly fashion, as I said, with a 34 3/4 area high. So I wouldn't be punching in at the highs, but one to note as well. So keep your eye out on that one. I'll keep my eye on GEMI as it's continuing to kind of do that compression pattern that we were speaking about. Let's see if we can get the beak wet here at 55s, and then we'll put in some higher prints on ATAI. I'm still interested in getting in a little bit lower on this one.
All right.
What else are you guys looking at there? I'm just looking for any new small cap gappers. Sharif, did you check out BTQFF right away? I probably wouldn't trade that because I can tell you it's on the OTC by the ticker. Sorry, I had to get it off the stream for a bit. Let's check it, but I probably won't trade it. Here it is. It's BTQQF. 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 All right. Okay. So because it doesn't trade in the pre-market, obviously, because OTC, Good looking last couple of days. In fact, I would say good looking month, at least from mid-September onwards, right? This thing was trading in the 3s, now it's trading in the 7s. This is not a bad looker at all. I don't know if it's an intraday trade though. What's the volume on this? 2.19 million in a $7 name. It's not too bad. Yeah, I don't know. This is really not for me, to be quite honest with you, just given the exchange, given the volume, given the price action. Not my fave, but a good looking stock on a wider time frame. Let's look at the 30. Looks like a nice rounded bottom here into that 2 3/4. We're still below local area highs, and by local, I'm talking about early July. We got up into 8 1/3. Seems like today we're topping out at 7 1/4. I would expect some resistance likely at 8, given all the interactions we had with 8. I want to say mid-July as well as early July as well. So not a bad look. I just don't think it's for me on the day, Joey.
Okay, yeah, look, I don't see anything that Miki's doing there. Just let me know.
What happened?
I don't know. Someone's saying they got to go, but
Mickey?
Yeah, Mickey. Whatever you want to call it, M-I-K.
My dog farted again. Gold will be crashing today. Fa, 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 fa. All right, Mickey.
All right,
what's going on, Mickey? You drinking already, bro?
Yeah.
Take it easy over there,
Is it
Mickey.
5 o'clock somewhere? Sure. Where would it be 5 o'clock?
No,
anywhere. Don't start too earlier.
Safe. I see Sava. Sorry, Joey. Let me.
Okay, go ahead, brother.
SAVA. I saw it on my scanner, and I was debating whether or not to take out a different one for this. So Cassava Sciences has had a great afternoon move. I'm assuming. Let me just double check what the reason was. Cassava Sciences buys 500. I got it here, there. It's fine.
Yeah, the reason, they just bought shares. The CEO.
Yeah, thanks. President and CEO Richard Berry has disclosed purchase of 237, almost 238,000 shares of the company's common stock in a transaction valued at around 534,743. So it looks like some insider buying. It was made between the 18th and the 19th of September, and they rose over 25%, as we saw there in the aftermarket, giving back a little bit today, below $3. Topped out yesterday at around 340. That's the topping tails. The closing prints all got around to 320. Talking about Cassava Sciences, certainly off the lows today. Got as low as, I want to say, 2.5, 254 technically. It's back above 3. It's not a bad look, but I'd be concerned about the bag holders from the aftermarket yesterday. I look at the aftermarket price action in the same way I look at pre-market price action. So take a shot at it if you want. I mean, I'm trying to decide which stock to remove here from the side chart. I think ZSPC's lost its steam, so we'll put Cassava Sciences over here and see if we can execute at that level. I want to mention that 1040 price spike as well. We're right there. That's at 306 high. I'm talking about this price spike as well. This over here is an institutional level print at 8 a.m. That popped up into about 311. So Cassava Sciences certainly in focus, Joey.
All right, good look. I like this candle that we're experiencing on NVDA for a potential bounce. Wait for that pullback into 27. Do we have NVDL up here? Yep, so the 87 is what we want to wait for this move back into, so that way our risk profile is slightly more defined. We only have to give it about 10 or 15 cents. Sorry, Ken Charles, I can't go back. I'll keep my eye on that. I'll continuously monitor it. If I see anything along those lines, then you know what's going to happen. But as of right now, we got to focus on what we have going on in the trend. Absolutely, it's intolerable. There is no question about that. So Tesla starting to bounce. It's holding the support level really, really well. See, the thing is, though, we only have about 16 minutes, a little bit more than that, 20 minutes until JP hops on.
Oh.
And I want to be patient, but I am seeing some things that I'm starting to like, which is a positive sign. We have now closed in about 30% of that candle's wick, so keep an eye out on that. A little bit more downside to NVDA. We're going to avoid it at all costs. IBIT, not too bad of a look here. Boom, boom, boom. So nice hammer candle. You had this indecision print that was beautiful, volume supporting it. Move higher, we didn't take it, and now you have another hammer right around those lows. I think this is my green light to go here on NVDL. Let's start relatively small here, Sharif. This is going to be our first position of the day, and let's see if we can start cooking up on NVDL. We're only going quarter risk here. There goes Tesla.
What?
Bang, you're getting the pop higher. There goes BBAI, pop higher. Fantastic stuff. What is INTC up to? Not much. Okay. So there it is. INTC was forming that bull flag. City Boy, it's still holding up well. You didn't get that break through the volume weighted average price. We like this one. Let's go NVDL. Let's see if we can get that move back into VWAP. That's going to be the primary goal. TQ's bounce, SPY hammer, TQ's hammer, hammers everywhere. Now we're going to Adara. Oh, sorry, no, we're not. We're going to Sharif.
Exciting news for Canadian sophisticated traders. Beta Pro by Global X Canada has just launched 6 new triple leveraged ETFs offering 3 times bull and 3 times bear exposure to the S&P TSX 60, semiconductors, and U.S. Treasuries. If you want even better, they're offering a special fee rebate, dropping the management fees down to just 65 basis points, all up until New Year's Eve, baby, December 31st of this year. These ETFs also employ currency hedging, so you can seek to neutralize the U.S. dollar exposure, providing you performance that may more accurately reflect the underlying U.S. equities that you're involved in. If you're a tactical, sophisticated trader looking to amplify your performance, check out betapro.ca/3x daily to learn more. Shout out to them.
Shout out.
All right, here we go. We're doing okay here finally on ATAIs. We're taking out some levels, but I'm actually looking at getting involved in a different name right now, adding to my REPL because I see multiple hammer candles off the volume weighted average price. So we'll get in here and we'll give this one to $0.75, so we will not, bleed anymore below that level. So let's go ahead and throw out our stops and enter the requisite share size into that level. So we'll see what this one gives us. Also, RCAT rocketing, Joseph. Rocketing.
Which way is it going?
Off the volume weighted average price. No, I would have used something more ominous if it was going down like, I don't know, like something bad, Joey.
Yeah, something bad.
But this one is all freaking gas. Touches, glances, skins the volume weighted average price, and that's all it needed. Rocketing up 25 pennies super quick right off that 1220 area. Now we're knocking the door of 1250. We've gotten above the moving averages again. So my concern is when you lose the 10 EMA on the 5, sometimes, well, a lot of the times you start using it as resistance. You didn't get that this time here. And RCAT's taking out the $0.50 and it's being bought up quite aggressively now, clearing that 54 penny area, looking possibly at getting into 60s. There does seem to be a little bit of resistance here at the $0.00 with the high of the day being $12.90. So RCAT back in focus as well. So we'll keep tabs on all of those, but I'm going to really look to be doing most of my attention. I really want to focus on ATAI and now REPL as we added into the volume weighted average price, looking for this bad boy to hold up off that level. That's what I'm looking at. Joey, show them what you're looking at, baby.
Yeah, I'm looking at some things here, and I'm also looking at removing Mickey here from the chat.
No, he's still drinking, eh?
Well, I don't know.
Mickey, take it easy, brother.
First of all, someone in the chat told me one of the comments that they made. I personally can't say, nor am I going to repeat it on here. So if I do personally see it, this is your last warning from me personally, because there's zero tolerance for that whatsoever around these neck of the woods.
Mustache guy will receive a forehead kiss today.
No, but it was something else. No, but
who are you, the Godfather, bro? Get your ass out of here, man.
You got to read what Ken Charles said earlier. Ken Charles said above of what they said. So I don't know if it's
he was talking about the OG.
No,
is he talking about the OG over here?
I don't know, maybe. Yeah, it doesn't matter
who. Because if he did, then he's losing his voice.
It doesn't even matter.
You can talk to me about me. You're not talking about the OG, though.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter who you are.
Why do we give this guy so much?
Yeah, he's getting a lot of credit right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, there goes. Gorev, just not enough size, man. Not enough size on this one. It's not enough size. More. You're getting that bounce there in NVDL, but that's all right. At least we got some skin in the game. You're long NVDL as well too. Nice bounce in Bitcoin. Nice bounce. Oh my! I gotta pull up the whole 8-seater right here, Sharif.
Crazy.
Look at this one.
Bang. What's happening?
Hammer. What is that? Bang. Hammer. Guess what? Another one. Oh. Another one.
Oh, no.
I don't even have another one. So shout out to Katina, man. He's still is he at the gym still? Another one, bang. Yeah, we're rocking and rolling today, brother. You gotta have some fun with it. Man, why is this one the deepest pullback out of all of them? That's all right. We're gonna look to add. What happened? What? Who said what?
It's just funny.
It's
nothing to do with you.
Oh, all right.
No.
Who? Mickey?
Yeah, he's funny, bro.
Mickey roaring?
He's crazy.
What's he doing? What do you mean? Down. It's not here. Oh,
I think he's funny.
Yeah, you think so? All right. Yeah. Where are you from, by the way? Anyways, I don't care. It's irrelevant to me. Sorry. But there it goes. IBIT, nice move off of that hammer low. oh my days, why is this one the deepest pullback out of all of them? Oh, well, that's just going to give us an opportunity to add, I hope, here. Hopefully it doesn't drag the overall market down, Sharif. Are you all right? Do you need a couple seconds? All right, I give you a couple seconds.
I'm good. All right. Man, RCAT, your friend RCAT, Joey, man, is continuing to go here. Oh, baby, look at this greenery.
Yeah, they're gone.
No, come on. He's entertaining. He's making me laugh. Leave him, Joey.
See his last
Sorry, angry wife, man. I'm having a good time.
You're lucky, Sharif. One more, though, Sharif. I'm going to say one last chance. That's it, and then it's right away. It's straight away. Like,
so RCAT's continuing to go, guys. Every time, excuse me, I look at RCAT, it's like at the top of the range of the current candle. And this is kind of what I'm speaking about right here. Closed out at the top of the prior candle, currently hanging out at the top of the current candle. So RCAT looking real good over here, but I perceive possibly some resistance at the $0.0002, just given how much time we spent over here before we popped up, obviously, and made that area crest into 1290. So RCAT's very strong, very directional, traded carefully as always. But you guys are bringing ARAB. We got that ARAB money to my attention over here. AREB to the high side, trying to take out a dollar, up 27%. What happened now?
No, nothing. I'm talking Assassino.
105 is the high, dropping below a dollar right now. Double top at 105, Joey. He's trying to reclaim the dollar, but I'm going to keep my eye on this one. EMA and VWAP both pointing towards 90 pennies right now. But you know how I feel about these sub $1 names, especially the ones that are actually hanging out at a dollar that haven't decided whether or not they're going to trade above or below the dollar at the moment. So let's let this one reconcile and then maybe we'll get back in. But a nice rocket up off that 77 penny closing print yesterday, up nicely 27%. I'm watching RCAT. Every time I look at RCAT, it's making higher highs, Joey. We don't even have it up on a trading screen, so let's go ahead and do that, man. We're going to move the calendar over here. It's getting in the way. So let's go ahead and load up RCAT. NXXT has been taken off the side chart. So RCAT, we're going to load that on the NQ. Here's a look. Here's the look. Topping tail right now into 27. I got it, Joey, because I already got it up. All right, guys, trade the pool, baby. Did you know that instead of risking your own money, you can now trade with someone else's capital? No more fear of losing. No more moving your stop loss too soon. And you can actually get enough capital to make it worth your time. So you can aim for limited risk trading, and it's powered by Trade the Pool. This is how it works. First, you join Trade the Pool. Second, hit the profit goal. And third, you keep 70% of your profits. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, visit tradethepool.com or scan that QR code now for 10% off. Shout out to the great folks at Trade the Pool. Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah, there he is, baby. Shout out to my man, Big Spile Burdette. I heard, can I read this?
Yeah, you can read this.
I heard ARAB money is oil doing something. Mickey, you so fine. No, man, we're talking about AREB, Big Spile. It's trying to clear that dollar area. And, yeah, well, it sounds like ARAB.
There's a new one in Sharif's Gardner.
Oh, my God. Why?
That's crazy.
Shout out to my guy, man. That would be the goal. But you got to get the house before you can get the gardener, Joey. Right? Like you can't do that.
You can't go gardener then house.
That's crazy time right there.
You can't go gardener then house.
No, you can't do that, Joey. You got to hit the house before the gardener. I was telling Brendo off camera today.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm not ready to buy a house, but you got to keep your eye on the market to know what's up. You know where all the different different prices for different locations. Dude, I'm saving these. 4 or 5 days later, they're sold.
Yeah.
Try saving a condo. You can be like 3-4 months later, it's still not sold. The houses are flying off the market. Number one, a certain price point and higher, certain buyers are not having trouble in this market. They're just not. They got a lot of cash. And number two, it shows you the insane demand for homes over condos, at least in the city.
Yeah, right now.
And you're seeing that consistently.
Well, I think that's kind of been the narrative. Like, there's not enough single-family homes. They're building too many of these micro units.
400 square feet. What am I going to do with 400 square feet, Joey?
Brother, you can't. Right? You need one of those beds that fold up. And I mean, Yeah, it's honestly bad, man. It kind of sucks here, the real estate game. I'm not going to beat around that bush. So, yeah, I was in it. When did I buy my condo? 2019. My friend and I purchased one, and then we sold it in 23 or 23, I think it was. Yeah, so 19 to 23.
That's good.
Yeah, it was a nice run, right? We got in before COVID, and then we got out
Best thing
right
is
at the
too,
peak.
you got your foot in the door, because once they see that in your credit profile, it's going to make a big difference.
Yeah, big time. But the thing is, though, I don't get the first-time home buyers credit anymore.
You didn't.
So
there's ways around that, right?
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Enlighten me. Obviously.
Companies. That's just basically.
Yeah.
Multiple people have done that.
Okay. So register as a something.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes definitely sense. Wisp away. Wow. There goes BBAI. $8.24. Bull flag breakout. Bang. You're getting that. Nice look there. Shadow Katina Man. Do. Hit the light bulb, Katina Man. I like that one's my new favorite. Do. Yeah. There it goes. Man, what the helly? Okay, so there goes the NVDA starting to break through. Once it snaps through this low, we're going to get out of that trade. You just can't buy a winner today.
Yeah, well, welcome to my club, baby.
Yeah,
can't buy anything, winner or otherwise. Okay, well, finally, we're getting something over here on ATAI. Let's see if it can take out 64s. This is the one that we wanted to get more in, but it didn't dip down far enough. So I'm going to have to add a little bit more here on ATAI if it takes out this level. This has been quite strong and quite good, and hasn't been giving up the ghost like many of these others. Case in point, NUVI, et cetera, et cetera. You guys know the drill. 2 New York cents in Manhattan. An apartment for 400 square feet was about $1,200 a month in the early 2000s. I can't imagine what it is now. 400 square feet in Toronto, if you want to live alone, is probably going to run you now $2,200 to $2,300. And in COVID, I think at least in 2023, you would have been probably paying 25, 26. Rents have come down a little bit.
Yeah.
But they're still at historical
And that's
highs.
probably without a parking spot too. So there's another there's another 250, 300 just for the parking spot. So when we owned ours, we had one parking spot and then we had to rent another one out. But the girl gave me a good deal, $150. You honestly have to lock that in at that point.
And dude, a lot of people they're opting not to get a 400 square foot condo, but to get 1,000, but to share. That way you get a bigger room in general. You got to share the kitchen.
You know what's
Maybe
funny?
You don't even have to share the bathroom, Joey, if it's two bed.
So
two bath, I mean.
My grandmother inquired when we bought ours, my friend and I, she was like, yeah, okay, well, maybe we'll look into buying another parking spot. And she went to the building next door, and buddy's like, yeah, funny. Is that a joke or something? Try like 60 grand.
Oh, yeah.
For the
Can I
parking
say
spot
something to you?
Across the street.
I see them listed on
they're listed
Realtor.
all the time.
They're listed. And storage units are listed as well. They go for like 25, 30K.
Bro, people are renting their storage units out for $200. That's so insane.
It's intense, bro. It's intense.
It's insane. It's a competitive market here in Toronto, man. Competitive.
Don't listen to these people about buying. They are in TO. Drive until you can buy. Drive until you can buy. What do you mean drive until you can buy?
Who said this?
Drive. Oh yeah, but we got to get to work, brother. I mean, we work downtown, right?
Yeah.
It's a B getting in every day if you're outside. Like Katina, man, you don't think I want to buy a house in Innisfil, brother? You know what I mean? Like for the kind of money that I'm looking at spending, I can get like a 3,000 square foot home up in that. You know what? Right? And like who exactly? Like
Innisfil not bad though.
Huh?
Innisfil not bad.
Innisfil's far, bro. That's an hour and a half GO train. That's an hour and a half both ways. That's 3 hours in traffic.
No, it is.
Willing to give up 3 hours of your day every day?
No,
you know what I mean? Like
man.
it's crazy, bro.
that's what you gotta give up. I don't know.
All right, Joey. Let's get back to trading.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to the washroom.
Yeah.
You good?
ATAI just took out the high of the day again, 565. We got the big.
Bro.
What,
Kyle,
man?
Kyle.
Leave me alone, Big Spal. What the hell does a girlfriend have to do with the house, bro? I need somewhere to live, baby. Leave me alone, Big Spal. Bully Joey, all right? I liked it a lot better when you were bullying little Joey Smalls, okay? And then you left me alone for a little bit. Shout out to Big Spal. I love that guy, brother. Here's the deal, though. So we just took out a little bit there at ATAI on the day. REPL, we did add into this one at the volume weighted average price we added here. Let's see if it holds up that VWAP. Let's see if it can kind of curl back up into the mid 80s. Ideally, this one tries to work back into that $4 area. I won't hold my breath though, given the way that these small caps have traded on the day. Let's keep an eye on Cassava Sciences as well, because SAVA, S-A-V-A, has been quite respectful of the 10 EMA on the 5, and here it is again, right at that 10 EMA, despite the fact, you know, that it's still below the or after-market highs yesterday. This $3 area could also be an area of support, which is kind of overlapping with the 10 EMA. So I could be interested in getting into Cassava Sciences at this level. I just need some green candles to kind of prove to me that we are working our way back up. But look at this, man. It is the RCAT show. It feels like RCAT is destined to take out that 1290 area. What a buy it was off the volume weighted average price. I just didn't have the compunction to get into that today because, well, we hadn't been doing that good. But there is RCAT right back into the $0.75 area. So how could I? Yeah, well, we're gonna try our hand here at RCAT. Let's see if this, it's putting in higher highs and higher lows. So here's my deal. I'm going to put my out on prior bar low. So if it loses 1260, we're out of that. So we'll go ahead and throw that in right now. And we'll give this one the old college try on, oh, we didn't even get the fill. There we go. Now we got the fill on RCAT. So let's go ahead and throw that stop in and see what we get there. We got 69s. Okay, so let's layer some orders into the low 70s, mid 70s, excuse me, and then see if we can get something in and around that level. Ideally, obviously, we trend into the 80s. So RCAT strong on the day, but by no means, you know, at the day's high quite yet. We're still about 20 pennies off said day's high. John Del Segno, RCAT destined for 14, 14 and a half. That's what I want to hear, John. Shout out to my man, Big Spile. Joseph Sharif. Just had to read that first. Yeah,
just make sure.
Market feels so depressed, and the SPY is only down 0.2. What these folks going to do when the selling starts again? Panic. Big Spile,
Yeah.
I got one question, brother. I've known you for some time now. We're going on a few years, right? I still don't understand why you like the market to go down as opposed to go up. What is behind it, Big Spot?
Well, yeah, tell us.
I need answers.
We need answers.
I need answers. It just got to reconcile it in my mind. Let everybody know.
Oh, man, no. Okay, so JP speaking. Who was it? Rivian or Lowe said, do you want to be in? No, it was Rivian. Or Jag. Jag was like, hey, Joe, do you want to be involved in this right now as Jerome Powell is about to speak? So there he goes. It's starting now. We get a little bit of a flush to the downside, but immediately rebound. Boom. What do you got, Katina, man?
What's going on over there, Katina, man?
He's still short the TQs. So shout out to Katina, man. We'll hold on, there it is, bang. We haven't hit that one in quite some time. So yeah, let's be patient, see what we got going on. We cracked that 86.90 level, then we'll just hop out, get out of dodge on that one, and unfortunately take the L. But the market does look like it wants to continue that southeast trajectory, so keep an eye out on that. Or we get that bounce, which would be absolutely phenomenal, back into the volume weighted average price. A bear with that flag. All right, James Dell, we see what's going on over there. BBI is on fire. We're holding key support levels right here on NVDA. Hopefully that doesn't snap. If it snaps, then we got to get out of dodge, find something else to trade. Now, move back to VWAP is the game plan. Add in the middle of this range if the momentum starts to pick up. I can't wait to hear from Adara to say, oh, she's not here. Okay, so we got to figure out what JP is up to and what he's saying, either coming in hawkish or dovish. Obviously, dual mandate still in full effect there, Sharif.
Okay, Joey, we're still watching here. RCAT, after getting in, got in at 69, show me 66, is looking for continuation on the cat, but it does look like we put in a candle of indecision and just like, I can't believe it. It's been that kind of day, stopped out of this one. So we get into RCAT too late, and there's a stop out there. So we'll let that one go. Let's continue to watch. That's RCAT again. Let's continue to watch over here. REPL still waiting for this one to bounce off the volume weighted average price. Nothing doing with that, but we are still in ATAI as well. So we'll continue to watch that one as well. Chicago, the show used to have a line where viewers could call in. Is that accurate? No. I've been watching since 2020, and I'm pretty sure that that never happened.
You should set that up, man. That would be sick.
I know, right? I've been watching since 2020, so it would have been hard to fool me.
We should set that line up. We should say, actually, you guys can call me personally, and I'll have comments. Actually, no, that's not a good idea.
That'd be crazy. That'd be
but that would be, I think that's a good idea because
Big Spile calling in and saying all sorts of words.
But then we could do like a lightning round, Katina, man. You know, we could all.
Really?
The lightning round? That'd be sick. Do you hit? Oh, the stock blitz. All right. I see what you got going on. Bang! There goes NVDL to the top side. We'll hit the sirens there. INTC, bull flag breaking out there. Not a horrible look there, City Boy 305. This is what we wanted. We want to see this volume step into this market. Give us some indecision prints around the lows. Look what's going on with the SPY. Look what's going on with the Qs. Big time volume, and you're starting to form some indecision prints. Let's look for a bounce to continue to hold. There goes NVDA back to the top side, Sharif.
All right, good luck, brother. Good luck.
Big flush to the downside now.
Okay, so we'll start the news in about like maybe 10 or 15 minutes or so. It's been an interesting day in the news. I want to get to that NVIDIA story as well. It's been... You okay?
I feel like you right now, man.
What's wrong, brother?
I don't know, my God. I got this sharp pain in my lower rib right there.
You want to take a minute?
Yeah, I thought you were up there anyways, man. I didn't pull any. Dude, I woke up, my elbow was hurting. I'm like, what did I do? And now I got.
What do you mean?
Weird. Yeah, I don't know, man.
All right, brother. Take a second. Yeah. Take a second. All right. What's it called? Is making another new high. There is ATAI at another day's high, 5-66. Let's keep an eye out on that one. Good trend and good strength on ATAI. No beak wetters for me on this one, though, until it gets into 575. So let's put that profit taker there. Yeah, it's been that kind of day, brother. All right, continuing to watch over here as RCAT continues to dilly-dally at these levels. Let's see what you guys are saying there in the chat. Any new small cap gappers? I think Bovin, ZSPC curled up. Let's look at ZSPC. You know, sorry if sometimes we call these out and then we don't look at them again, guys, because sometimes what happens is they just give up the ghost really quick, and that's the nature of these small cap gappers. That's kind of what they do. And yeah, so it's below VWAP, Bovin, trading at 202. VWAP's 212 on ZSPC, so I'll have to wait until it clears that level. Otherwise, no go for me. I'm just continuing to watch RCAT here because I've got a nice position in the RCAT, and I'm looking for it to clear 69. We got 63s. Seller at 69. There we go. We take out that level. Now we're showing 70s. There's the print. Can we continue on a little bit higher on RCAT? Showing me 72s now on, or 73s, excuse me, on the level 2. We'll let the beak over here on that one. Let's let this one run, though, because if RCAT can take out that level, and I got decent share size on this one, so maybe we can make some money back. Let's throw an order at 82s now, showing me 74s. All right, good look here on RCAT. So prior candle was a bottoming tail candle that ended up closing green, and the subsequent candle is actually making a new high. So let's see if we can continue more here. 75s now showing up on the catted one. Back and forth, 74, 75. There it is, 76, Joey. So now we're moving on. We're moving on a little bit here. We just got another price spike. 77 showing up, no print yet. Let's take out some more over here as we continue to watch that. So good recovery trade here on the catted one. We'll look to do some damage to the high side if this one continues to go. How's my other friend over here? ATAI looking real good. Let's wet the beak over here on ATAI at the highs, and we're going to let that 575 level go as well. So ATAI and RCAT looking awfully good. Everything else, hot garbage, at least in small cap gapper world. ARAB money's trying to get back to the high side, and you know, obviously I'm joking when I say that. AREB is a ticker trying to take out that dollar area, holds the 10 EMA like a dang glove. Do you hold a glove? No, I don't think you really hold a glove. You wear a glove. Anyway, it's defending that 93 penny area where the 10 EMA is. It's still putting in generally lower highs. We change that though if we close and hold above that dollar. It's up 26 some odd %. Good look here, Joey. Let's go back to my friend RCAT. All of a sudden, it's my friend again, eh? You know how that works, huh? I always talk about you flipping the switch, but I can flip the switch too.
Hey, brother, we're flip switchers, man.
I like it. I like it. Right now, I'm okay with flipping the switch because
I'll flip it anytime, at any given moment.
No, Joey, we're taking out levels here.
Let's go.
Finally,
All right, so you caught something?
Oh my God! Today has been like pulling teeth. I haven't been able to trade for the life of me. But hey, we'll continue to trade. Yeah. Unless we get shut down. And hopefully we won't get shut down today. So anyway, local area high there, 1284. I've got a beak wetter here at 86 that's still gone unprinted on RCAT. Letting this one run. Let's see what it gives us. See what everybody else is talking about over here before we send it back to you.
Yeah.
The OG Yannick saying UAMY. Let's check UAMY for the OG. UAMY, show yourself. Okay, not bad. Not bad immediately. I can tell you I don't like the volume probably on it. I lied. 19.5 million shares is quite respectable. It's up 22.75%. And look at the respect for the 10 EMA. Oh, baby.
Baby.
Oh, baby. You had me at VWAP, okay? Just like she had me at Powell. Oh, no. Yeah, I wonder if she even knows what that means. I can't wait to find out.
Can I tell you?
Bro, holding that weapon, she gotta know what the PAL is.
Maybe not, though.
Maybe she was in Vegas.
Just go to the range, though, right?
Or Vegas, because I don't think you're gonna have that gun here.
No.
Right? Like, that didn't look like a Canadian gun to me, to be honest with you, right?
True.
And your friend Trudeau was all over banning those guns.
Brother,
that,
literally, I got mine, and then this guy banned all the good stuff. Otherwise, I was gonna get like
talking about firearms.
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna get the Kel-Tex, everything like that, man. Everything you can still get.
Joey Options loves it.
I love that stuff. Yeah, so it's me, man. I told you. Everybody
we got no
knows
Second Amendment in this country.
No, not yet.
Like,
Hopefully, anyways. Like, man, I was thinking that would be the dream. Imagine open carry and concealed carry.
All right, it's going to be super controversial.
Sick,
I'm letting you deal with that, baby.
That's fine.
I know you don't give a what, but like that's your life right there, my boy.
Yeah, exactly.
UAMY is looking real good here, man. It's already earned its way onto the side chart. I'm taking off that hot garbage. What's it called? POET. So UAMY, I will look to execute on this if it sets up in the right way. I really like it. But we're doing well over here on RCAT. Let's see if there's only one beak wetter left unfilled. It's at 86. In fact, we did pop up into 85. So almost got the print there. Here we go. We're moving right back up again. Oh, I see. Okay. Another piece of the puzzle falls into place. Okay, now I understand what she was talking about. I had no idea
you get it, right?
But she doesn't explain anything, bro. She just went into the middle of the conversation. I had no idea, right? Like everyone else listening to us right now has no idea what we're talking about.
Not a clue.
Right? But okay.
Idea, no idea.
84s, Joey. Let's go, RCAT, you hot garbage. Let's go. 84s. We're looking for 86s, baby. RCAT, go RCAT. It's looking real good over here. Coming into the day's high, I want to let you know 1290 day high on RCAT. Joey, tell them what you're looking at over there.
All right, guys, we got 14 years, zero hacks, zero excuses. BTCC.com delivers when others don't. Trade Bitcoin up to 500x, even Tesla, gold, and Forex. With smart copy trading, you don't just watch the pros, you trade like them. Regulated in the USA, Canada, and Europa. Trusted by 6.8 million traders. Trader TV Live exclusive. Scan the QR code, click the link in the description. Box for a 15% deposit, btcc.com, where the pros trade, and now so can
I like it, Joey.
All right, you got anything cooking up there?
Yeah, we're cooking on RCAT, man. Finally, bro. Here we go. We're showing 90s, Joey. That is the day high. We are at the day high right now on RCAT. Let's see if we can cross. I'm waiting at 92s. It probably behooves me to throw in some more beak wetters in the high 90s. I'm going to wait at 97s to front run what I perceive possible size at the whole dollar level. I'm talking obviously about 13. So we'll see. Now we're showing 90s here. It does look like there's a hidden seller at 90s. Not surprising given that it is the high of the day. And I also want to bring your attention to this area over here. We double topped at 1290. So, it's not exactly, to say that we can't shake that level, but the fact that we did double top means we had two attempts at 1290 with the current one being the third, neither of which could get shaken. And neither of which, that 90 level is not getting shaken right now either on a wick close or otherwise. We're continuing to show 90s and 89s. Let's watch as the price action develops. It looks like we're taking off some size. And there it goes, Joey. We take out 90. It's a new high a day, baby. 92s. Now we're waiting at 97s on RCAT. Let's let this one run. Let's see if we can get up into 13. Shout out to John Del Segno. His bias was 14 to 14.5. Shout out to the OG John. Let's see if we can get something a little bit higher on this one. Here we go. 95s now showing up, Joey Options. That means we're about 2 pennies away from another little beak wetter. 95s again. Let's let that one cook. Let's go back over here to REPL. This one did pop up into my exit over here at 84s, alas. We didn't cross, so we didn't get printed. Showing me 83s. We've got 82s on right now. We have good share size here on our EPL. Let's see if we can get that print. Back to what's it called, RCAT again. And there we go. We popped up. Oh no, into 96s. Here come 97s, Joey. That's where we're waiting. We're waiting at 97s. Let's see how many shares we have over here. I don't want to take up too much. Go ahead. You have something to say?
Yeah. Cash now. Cash now. Stop, please. Cash now, please. Thank you.
Catch me outside?
Yeah. Well,
he's going to catch you outside.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he keeps up those antics. Cash now. No, obviously being sarcastic. All right, let's go on. Let's go over what you have. Joe, can you please look into MSTR? I have 342 calls for 10K. Is it worth holding? You didn't tell me much about the calls, right? When you come in here and you talk about your options, I need more details. What is your expiration cycle? That is so key. That is everything. That is time. So tell me, when you guys are telling me your contracts, please put in the expiration cycle because I need to know. All right. Otherwise, that's it. Used to get the hockey stick in the mug too. Just pop, Joe, smarten up. Okay, what was the strike price again? 342. 342. I don't know when they expire. Can that be in the works? Yes, but look what Bitcoin's been up to, right? Boom. We don't know. It didn't move. It's not popping how we would like it to. Look at the NAS and the SPY go, and freaking NVDA is doing nothing. Wow, what a joke, man. But in all seriousness, I need to know the expiration. I can't tell you because if it expires this week, good luck. You're probably not going to hit that unless some positive catalyst steps in tomorrow or before Friday evening that just sends the underlying assets ripping. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case. The overall space is extremely weak. We were looking for more of a pop during that 25-bit cut. We didn't get that. So what is that telling us? It needs more of a catalyst in order for it to get rolling, okay? So I don't know when those expire. I can't help you aside from that. Will it get to 342 eventually? Yeah, probably. But if you don't have any time and time is not in your favor, then you're in trouble and you're just holding on to contracts that are going to expire worthless. So tell me the times. Tell me the expiration cycles, please. Thank you.
All right, guys.
There we go. Hold on here.
Yeah, go ahead, Joey. Go ahead.
Yeah. There it goes. Finally,
look at the pop. Lit up like that, bro.
Pardon? What?
You got lit
yeah,
up.
well, man, I'm
yelling
cool.
at everybody.
But no, listen, I lost it yesterday, bro. I told everybody I'm sick of losing on my hockey team. I'm like, I'm so sick of getting blown out 12-4.
Crazy.
I'm so sick of it, dude. So for me personally, it's just like, all right, I'm gonna start being stern, Joseph, and that's not a good individual. All right. So, anyways. So as for the pro shares, TQs, you're getting the pop off of that hammer. Yes, Katina, man, we lost 12-4 last night. So anyways, 103.9.
He didn't do anything.
Yeah. Well,
he was just chilling, bro. The Katina man got dragged in. He didn't do anything.
Well, I had to let him know just in case he didn't know. So now he knows. But anyways,
so now you know.
Yeah, exactly. But in all seriousness, you're getting the pop.
Feel your anger on that one.
Yeah,
I like it.
Brother, it's so frustrating. Dude, I come off the ice. The game was tight. I come off the ice. Buddy scores a natural hat trick on us. I was
What is
losing.
a natural hat trick?
He's got 3 goals in a row. Bang, boom, boom, boom.
That's
on the
what
other
that
team.
is? Like in a row?
Yeah, boom, boom.
I didn't
Natural
know
hat trick,
that.
just like that, within a span of 60 seconds. And then the line didn't want to change after that. Yeah.
60 seconds?
It was literally like a minute and a half. The same shift, Buddy scored 3 goals.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I'm like, yo, I can't. I told him, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. It's either try
I sent a
or
goon
quit.
after him. Like,
Yeah, well, man,
of course, I'm exaggerating.
But no, it gets to that point, right? And you got to think it's just beer league hockey. But why am I paying all this money to get blown out every single week? Like I trade, so I lose money there. I don't need to continuously lose there. But anyways, so as for the overall market TQs, you're getting that bounce off that hammer candle. The support levels are coming into effect on NVDA, but we have to take into consideration that this downtrend is still fully intact. Until we sit on the backside of this, we're in trouble, and I'm going to suspect that this chip space will be relatively weak, and then we crack through this low here. I thought we would see some more continuation. Okay, Ed Miller, relax.
What happened?
No, I know what he's referring to. Yeah. Anyways.
Yes, Big Spile.
What do you say?
Yeah, you read that. It's fine. Hey, it's natural.
Yeah, there you go. We're not going to repeat that there. But no, as for NVDA, we thought that we would get a little bit of continuation and strength considering yesterday's session, but we're not seeing that right now.
All right, guys. Here's the deal. Let's look at RCAT 1307 high. That's exactly actually where I'm waiting at 07s, but we didn't get printed because it didn't cross. It's coming back down now into the high 90s. We got 63s on. Let's see what we can get here from RCAT. Don't want to take out too much too quickly, especially if we decidedly take out 13. But as we see, the whole dollar, at least for the moment, is acting as a level of psychological resistance, because the level prior to that was 1290, and we cleared 1290 by some distance. So let's let that one cook. Let's keep an eye as well on REPL. I kind of see this one curling a little bit. We're not getting that rocket up, so that means the longs are not participating in the way that I had hoped, but it just takes one larger buyer on a name like this to kind of get everything rocketing to the upside. So in fact, I'm going to put in some more sell orders over here. I'm going to go ahead and place it there. There we go. It's actually not where I want it, so maybe I'll adjust that. And then last but not least, guys, we're also keeping an eye on this one. That's RCAT, excuse me. It is, yes, this one, ATAI. It's been really good. This one's been very calm, very steady, stair step up. You don't have too much in the way of bamboozlement, so you're not getting key area technical support breaches and then, moving back up. Maybe I shouldn't jinx it. But this one has been a little bit more calm than some others. But let me bring in the side chart because there's a bunch of stuff happening right now on UAMY, okay? This is looking real good. I was concerned with this one having a bit of an area crest here at $8. It looks like we were going to take out that area because that was on a wick, Joey, but now we're actually stair-stepping through 8. In addition to that, you have higher lows that are kind of supporting the this upward channel, if I can kind of put it that way, on UMAY. Let me throw in that ticker, by the way, so you guys can follow along. I do apologize. UAMY, that's the ticker, UAMY. So this one's looking real good with an 817 high, but you feel if we squeeze decidedly above that 18, it could even be stronger. So it's up 24%, and then a critical area of technical resistance right now at that $8. Not technical, excuse me, psychological area of resistance. $8, I'm sorry. I'm losing it. I keep saying technical when I mean psychological. All right, quickly back. Finally, REPL. We're taking prints on this one, so let's see if we can split. We got shares on this one as well, so let's see if we can take out some of these levels. It does look like it's curling back up. It's a 396 high. We're showing 86, so we got at least 10 pennies into the high. Maybe we even breach 4. Last but not least, RCAT right back above now. 13 a little bit, but dropping back down below this current the prior candle that just closed as a doji candle, a red doji candle. That could be basically a reversal candle. How many times have we seen in the technical analysis books them describe doji candles either as a candle of indecision or as a reversal candle? So this is a reversal candle showing up at a key area of psychological support, 13. It's also a lower high than the prior bar. And now this current candle has a newer low than the doji candle. So now we have lower high and lower low. So at least on the micro time frame, we are selling off. Thankfully, I have 63s on, and the 10 EMA on RCAT is showing me basically 80s. A little bit lower than 80s, let's say 77s. So I will allow this to come back into the 10 EMA, and guess what? If it holds up at the 10 EMA, I'm adding into RCAT. So let's see what we get here on RCAT, coming down into 85s. If it comes down into the 77-ish, I'm going to add, if it holds, obviously. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Joey, show them what you're looking at.
Yeah, there you go. So, Chicago,
what's going on, Katina Man? The Katina Man is short the TQs.
Yeah, he's short TQs over there. Diamond hands, Deontay Wilder over there. So there it is. We tried that long up there. We didn't get that pop there.
There you go,
there
bro.
You go. So we get out of that one.
He was knocking plenty of people out, Katina Man, before he started sucking.
Who, Deontay? Yeah, he was never a good boxer, though.
No, but he had
the diamond in his hands. So, yeah, what else did we trade? IONQ, we'll take the loss on that one. So,
that's okay.
yeah, there it goes. A nice little move lower. We'll be patient just in case anything does pop up that NVDA does want to find a bottom and you get a little bit of a bounce. I like what you're up to there, Butter Biscuit Head. So you're selling some 165 puts that expire in a couple of weeks. I really like that there, to be honest with you. And then also Amazon, you're putting in the dates. I love that. October 3rd, 215 puts. 215 puts, and then also. Yeah, I like that. I like selling that premium. I like those bottom grabbers. I like Amazon. I was telling Chicago 1807 right now. Amazon was relatively weak on the morning, and I like that for a potential dip buy. So keep your eyes out on Amazon and with the NVDA. Maybe tomorrow we get a little bit of a continuation. Other than that, Shreve, I'm sitting on my hands. We could fire up the news at any given moment.
Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna be looking at this stuff here to see what we got going on. Yeah.
Micron's reporting tonight, Katina Man.
Yeah.
Katina Man, I'm just gonna throw it out there, my man. I know you're gonna know it anyway, but what's Micron up year to date? It's the best performing microchip. 100%.
Probably 60 or 70.
Katina, man, it's up 100% Micron, and it's all really driven by this re-emergence of demand for high bandwidth memory, man.
How was the lunch, bro? What'd you get for lunch?
Just the beef.
You got the beef.
All right.
Should we show them the daily on Micron, Joe?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
100%.
Yeah.
Look at this in the tariff tantrum. Let's not even go back to January, Joe. Let's just go to the tariff tantrum, okay?
Yeah.
From that level to the previous area high, 193%. Since the April lows to the high that we put in, I believe, on the 18th. So about like 5 days ago. We're not quite there yet, but we're looking like we're going to take that level out. What a recovery. And we remember we were talking about, there's a glut of inventory. There's too much HBM, too much DDR5 or 4, whatever they're using these days. No.
Not the case. Yeah, I mean, I was in Micron, man, and I got stopped out, and then I decided to go on this absolute monster run. Let's pull it up here. I'll even show you guys the evidence come the end of the year. I'll show you my whole trade book, every single trade. That's what I'm going to do at the end of the year. I told these guys every single year, every single trade that I put on throughout the year, swing trade, whatever. So yeah, Micron. This is where I was long, right here. Gaps down, I get stopped out down there, and I just never got back in, and then off to the races goes MU. So from that low of around 104, you're up 62%. So a really good look there. I got to get back to my eyes on NVDA. We're going to take one more stab at this bad boy here. If this closes as a 5-minute hammer candle, considering we are in. Okay. We are we're experiencing an inside day, right? So you have this move, you pull back about 40% of it, maybe a little bit more, and then maybe we're gonna get that bounce. But this is it, guys. It's gonna be my last trade because we have taken it's death by paper cuts this morning. So yeah, we're involved there. Off of those lows, we gotta risk 30 cents. That's not too good, but yeah, let's see if we can get a little bit of a pop here in NVDA. Last attempt, folks.
Joey, each year, 3.8 million concussions are reported in the United States. Yet sadly, there's no FDA-approved treatment still. New York Stock Exchange, NYSE listed Orgenix under ticker OGEN is changing that with its first-in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to reach about $8.9 billion by 2027, Orgenix is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more and schedule a meeting today. Shout out to OGen. All right, good luck there. Adira, you good to go? Or you still need time, or are you good to go? She's good to go. We're ready to go. Here we go, baby. We're starting the news. Let me just bring in from the side. A light bunch today, guys. Not too much in the way of headlines, so we won't be that long. Probably get done before the normal time, but important stuff today. All right, before we go and start the news, Adira does have breaking news at the big desk.
Keep an eye here on Eli Lilly. Eli Lilly is going to be investing $6.5 billion in its new Texas facility to manufacture active pharmaceutical ingredients. Previously, they announced a Virginia facility. They were teasing out other facilities. So Eli Lilly, this is the second facility they've announced. We also have some commentary apparently coming with regards to the White House as well. It doesn't seem market related. 2-year note auction on watch. If there's anything of note there, I'll let you guys know. Powell is also still speaking. So much is happening right now. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adira. All right, let's get to work. Let's talk about this NVIDIA OpenAI deal that's worth $100 billion. It's not going to be $100 billion all at one time. Let's talk about what the hell is going on, and then we'll all give our take. So NVIDIA and OpenAI finalized a $100 billion partnership unveiled just before Altman's trip to Texas to promote the Stargate build-out that's happening over there. NVIDIA now valued at around 4.5 trillion. OpenAI in the private market anyway, valued in July at 500 billion. They will jointly build the next gen AI supercomputing facility. So NVIDIA said it will invest $10 billion tranches, equaling, of course, $100 billion, starting with the first block of $10 billion at a $500 billion OpenAI valuation. So a lot of what NVIDIA is doing is they're basing their investment on OpenAI's current valuation. The current valuation, as I mentioned, the latest anyway, is $500 billion, so that's what they'll be basing the math on. Subsequent rounds will adjust to OpenAI's at then valuation as the new infrastructure comes online. OpenAI named NVIDIA as a preferred partner, but confirmed it's not exclusive. Not exclusive when it comes to cloud use, but exclusive when it comes to GPU purchases. They will not be using any AMD graphic processing units, but they will be looking to diversify cloud. So they're going to be using Azure, they're going to be using Oracle, as well as getting some money from SoftBank. NVIDIA, as I mentioned, will supply exclusively the GPUs to OpenAI to build up that massive 10 gigawatt data center. So just before I stop, continue, I want to stop for a second. 10 gigawatts, Joey.
Yeah.
How many GPUs do you think make up 10 gigawatts of AI compute? I'll just tell you. 4 to 5 million, give or take.
I was going to say like 500,000 or something.
Which,
like that.
4 to 5 million, that's what it is. And Joey, guess how many GPUs NVIDIA has delivered year to date or will by the end of the year? I'll just let you,
You can tell me, you can tell me.
4 to 5 million.
All right,
so they're basically looking at selling to them the entire year's worth.
Production.
Obviously, they're not going to be doing it in a year because, again, it's going to be $10 billion tranches. Yeah, it's a lot of money, Assassino. Mm-hmm. Let's continue. A lot of money. The companies have reviewed 700 to 800 global locations, narrowing down locations based on energy, the permits, the financing they can get. Initial sites are expected to go online late this year, pushing OpenAI closer to becoming a first-party cloud provider. So I have to stop here again because we know that OpenAI, they use other people's cloud. Azure, Google Cloud, I think they're buying from. They even buy from CoreWeave. Well, they're looking at just not being an LLM anymore. They want to also have their own cloud compute that they can actually sell to other people. I know this doesn't matter for us because they're a private company, but this is something we need to know because they're going to compete with public companies. So actually, OpenAI looking at doing cloud as well. Last but not least here, with respect to the long-term vision, OpenAI is considering launching its own cloud service, as I mentioned, potentially rivaling AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. To reduce equity dilution, though, they're actually going to finance the push into cloud through debt, not through the issuance of new equities. Therefore, if you're a shareholder, at least in the private market on OpenAI, you needn't worry about dilutions. Joey, are you worried at all about the circularity of NVIDIA's business model?
No, me personally, I'm not. Right? I know you have some worries about it. I'm not. I think these guys are an absolute giant and are going to continue to be. You have the hyperscalers with their CapEx spend, obviously, still continuously through the roof. And I like that OpenAI is starting to have their own infrastructure. So they're not as reliant on some of the other big names. I think that's a fantastic play. Are they going to go public? Hopefully. I think that would be the hottest IPO probably of all time if OpenAI decided to go public. And I mean, some of the big names, we got SpaceX, we have OpenAI, and some of other Elon's companies that have valuations of over $1.something trillion. So the private market is extremely hot. Get OpenAI's IPO out there. It's going to take some time. Do you ever think they IPO Sharif or what?
Yeah. But like, think about it though. There is a private market premium, right? So there's a premium for not having to open the books, not having to be responsible to the
to report 4 times a year.
And so when they say 500 billion in July, would that have been 500 billion in the public markets? Maybe not, right? So we'll see what they end up coming to.
I like what you have. I like what you have to. Yeah, I was just about to lead to that, right? Like 500 billion. I think at this pace, OpenAI, considering what they've done from LLM standpoint, obviously starting to their own infrastructure build-outs as well too, $1 trillion at some point. $1 trillion? Yeah,
well, that's what I said to Brendo.
Yeah,
I'm like, it's a $500 billion in July. Now they get into cloud and they expand from 700 million monthly active users to 1.4 billion.
It's over.
I mean, we know Meta has 3 billion, I think, monthly active users, right?
Something is that what it is?
Yeah, not daily, but monthly.
Monthly active users. I mean, like GPT was the fastest growing app of all time.
By far.
But like it's not even close to the weekly active users. It's not even close. I was talking to one of the younger kids on my team yesterday. I was telling him a story, and I'm like, yeah, ChatGPT, and he's like, yeah, that's all I use. I don't use anything else. I don't even think for myself. Essentially, I just ChatGPT it. He was telling me. Yeah, that's what he was saying.
That is what come over to me.
Okay, Katina Man wants to chime in for a second over here, so we're gonna take it to Katina Man.
My 13-year-old wanted the iPhone, the protection screen, so you could not. The only way you could look at it is if you were straight down, because he was telling me, he's like, "Oh, Dad, don't worry, I'm just going to use ChatGPT in class, and that way, like, no one can see what I'm doing on the sides." Yeah. So needless to say, he did not.
Get it, Baron.
Exactly, you know, Baron. Yeah. So he did not. Needless to say, he did not get that privacy screen, but he got a normal one there. So, anyways, they're loving everyone. Even my daughter, 11 years old, yesterday. I forget what the question was, but we asked her, and she used Gemini to find the answer. So she was looking to see what rides were open for Halloween Haunt at Wonderland, and she asked Gemini that question.
Fun,
so
yeah, are you going?
Anyways,
I was just
there you
thinking,
go.
when does that
Right,
fire
I'm
up?
outta here.
Halloween Haunt. It's a good time, man.
it's
Is it going?
legit
Is it up
at
in
Halloween? Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was already up and running.
I'd be so down to hit that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's sick, man. It's a good time. I haven't been in probably about a decade.
And
but
can I
it's a good
say
time.
something? October is much more of a usable month than it was when we were growing up.
Yeah, yeah. It was rainy.
It depends
and
on
cold.
whether you're looking at climate change is good or bad, but I don't remember October being that usable.
No, absolutely. Now, anyways, back to the conversation, Sharif. Do you think that the mass adoption of some of these LLMs, ChatGPT, can be slightly worrisome for, I guess, the younger generation leading into school and stuff?
Yeah, it does. But like, I think some people could make the same arguments with respect to calculators and other things.
Yeah.
I don't think, obviously, calculators had the wide a net that LLM has.
It's
like literally everything.
You can use one thing. The calculators for one thing.
I don't know, Joey. We'll see. Let's I don't profess to know exactly what's going to happen. Maybe it makes them even more like it's a superpower.
Yeah. I guess it's just kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Just kind of the growth within maybe human society is that, hey, you're taking these next steps. As you just mentioned, you didn't have the calculator before. Now, remember when your teachers used to tell you in school you would never have a calculator on hand? Now you have one. And then now you just have ChatGPT and all these large language models at your disposal. So maybe it's just the evolution of modern society.
I agree. All right, Dara, give us your take on this $100 billion partnership.
I mean, I think the antitrust concerns make a lot of sense. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to be really real. Regardless of the business model, we know that we had quite a few people coming out here, some antitrust scholars saying, and they weren't personally like, oh, lock them up, but they were like, hey, from an antitrust perspective, from their professional perspective, with their experience, from their standpoint, this could be a little bit problematic. And I think that's certainly one thing for the companies to be aware of. Now we are in an environment that's a little bit more friendly from a regulatory standpoint. I'm sure if we were still under the wrath of Lina Khan, as Sharif often puts it, I think you probably have more of a concern here. But yeah, in terms of the actual deal itself, it's massive. And I've said last week, it seems like NVIDIA is really transitioning into being a bit of a playmaker or a deal maker, if you will. We know they had the Intel deal, they had the Infabrica deal. So this just seems like, honestly, if anything, I'm thinking less about this as the ChatGPT and more, what do we see next for NVIDIA? Because they very clearly seem to be in a space where they're trying to make these deals. So I think any AI company right now or chip company should be on watch and maybe on notice, because who knows what they're going to announce next. Yeah, I know. I have to agree with that 100% because I worry about the circularity. As I mentioned, I made my case very open about CoreWeave. I don't see as much circularity with OpenAI as I do with CoreWeave, and let me make my case for CoreWeave. They're vendor, customer, and investor all in one. They sell exclusively GPUs, NVIDIA GPUs to CoreWeave. CoreWeave takes those GPUs, builds out data centers, and makes cloud compute available for customers. Part of their customers are NVIDIA. They buy back the same cloud compute that they sold the GPUs for from CoreWeave. In addition, they'll buy any excess capacity that CoreWeave can't sell, all while being an investor in CoreWeave. So whether or not you feel like maybe NVIDIA is creating the runway for its business model, or whether you think this is a circular business model in and of itself, I mean, I respect both views. Obviously, the market doesn't give a you-know-what about the circularity argument, because it wouldn't be a $4.5 trillion company if the market did care. So at the
at the moment, it's moot. Let's go on to the next topic. Mizuho and many others boosted Tesla and other automakers' price targets today on a brighter 2026 outlook. Let's get right to it. So Mizuho raised Tesla's price target from 375 up to 450, keeping that same outperform rating. They did trim slightly the 2026 delivery forecast down to about 1.91 million units from the previous guide that they had issued. Mizuho had issued 1.95, even though that 1.91 is still above what the street consensus is. We're going to pause for a second. Adira's got news.
Yeah, just keep an eye here, guys. Powell has been asked just now about tariffs. He's just responding to this now. How will Fed's, policies be impacted by tariffs? I'll let you guys know if I have anything new on that. But yeah, for people wondering what Powell's saying, as you guys know, I would definitely be bringing it to you if there is anything of note. There really hasn't been much said here that either we haven't heard from Powell before or we haven't heard from the Fed over the last week since the most recent FOMC meeting. Back to you.
Yeah, I'm just responding to Las Polias Hermanos. All right, let's keep going over here. Some of the catalysts that Mizuho cited for the price target upgrade were a cheaper Model 2 and the potential launch of Tesla's robo-taxi platform. We'll have to see that. Elon Musk's $1 billion share repurchase as well as his new pay package were also seen as a strong alignment with the long-term vision for Tesla, and that pleases Mizuho. They did kind of hash the tariff costs, the possible headwinds that Tesla would face. Initially, Mizuho was projecting between $3,400 to $3,600 additional per car as a result of tariffs. They've now revamped that to about $1,200 per car, so almost 3 times less at the higher end of the range, which looks a lot better. They also did come up with an interesting data point here. They said U.S. EV sales for August grew 18% year over year to about 146,000 units. Tesla delivered 55,000 of those units. GM, this was a surprise to me, delivered 21,000 of those units. I personally just remember GM's EV deliveries on a per month basis being in the single digit thousands, not double digit, well into the double digits now. So good luck for GM. I know this is not a GM story, but this data point really stood out to me as well. China was in focus with Mizuho here. They said new energy vehicles sales were flat with 1.1 million units in the month of October, with Tesla sales down 4% year over year in China for August, while BID retained its market leadership. So Joey?
Yeah.
What are you thinking here about Mizuho's comment on Tesla? Are you as bullish as they seem to be?
I think again, we can. It doesn't really matter. Well, I guess it obviously does, but I mean, a lot of these analysts are extremely bullish, right? You have the extremes of both parties. Some are still in the camp that Tesla's just an EV company. That's not the case. Me personally, I don't think that. I'm bullish this name. Am I bullish on it right this second? Not necessarily. Just because Elon's buying back stock, that's a good vote of confidence. But you have to be forward-looking. I want him to start becoming more active on his widespread kind of growth of the autonomy. Get those FSD out there. Expand your, obviously, geographical grid and fence, and start getting some things. Start pumping things out. We want to see the Model 2. We talk about this quite often. But we don't see anything. We're not hearing anything. And that's exactly what I'm waiting for. I don't mind being bullish on something and being forward-looking, but to what extent are you going to remain with that outlook to the point where we say, hey, it may not come, and we're maybe a little bit too forward-looking and too bullish on the name? I don't know if that's the case. I don't think it's going to be the case, but at some point, if things don't come out and he doesn't live up to his promises, you have to look at the latter half.
Oh God, I think it'll be an absolute disaster.
Absolutely, an absolute disaster. I'm not saying that's going to be the case, but he needs to start taking more action, in my opinion.
All right.
Yeah.
Adira, they're bullish on a Model 2 and the potential of the robo-taxi launch. Are they a little too optimistic here, man?
With the Model 2, I think so. I mean, I've continued to say, until I see a Model 2, I don't even need Elon to show it to me until I see a drone showing a Model 2. I want to see some proof of life. If I don't see that, we know seeing is believing. In that case, that's when I'll start believing in the Model 2, because, guys, it's been almost 18 months since this was first teased out, and we don't have any evidence of it. But, yeah, I think, I do definitely I think one thing that's going to be interesting going forward, I want to mention as well, we had these China delivery numbers coming out for China, sorry, not deliveries, registrations. They were pretty solid, right? I mean, they're not perfect, but they're one of the best weeks of the year we just had. And I think, like, certainly we do have Q3 deliveries coming up, right? The month's almost over. Q4 begins at the start of October, so we're going to get these Q3 deliveries within the next couple of weeks. I think for TSLA, that's going to be a huge make it or break it point. In my opinion, Sharif, it might be a little too early for Mizuho to get so excited here about Tesla. I would maybe like to see a proof of life on the Model 2. But before that, I actually want to see what do they deliver in terms of these quarterly deliveries. I also really quickly want to mention Sharif as well. There are some comments coming from Powell about tariffs. He said that most forecasts are seeing tariff pass through well through 2026. But he also said that it's going to be a difficult policy path as of right now, and the Fed will have to make a compromise, but they'll manage through. So lots of cautious comments coming from Powell, but again, nothing super out of the blue here.
Thank you, Adair. Keep us up to date about that. I know how important, obviously, anything that Jerome Powell says is to the market. So thank you for that, Adair. Let's go on to the next uncontroversial topic over here, Joey. No controversy on this one at all. Trump administration links Tylenol to autism, FDA to change label. Let's get into it. So the Trump administration, as we know, yesterday in the press conference announced new guidance warnings against the use of acetaminophen, aka Tylenol, during pregnancy unless medically necessary. The FDA now, for their part, will require updated safety labels, and they will also issue a new physician's notice advising use for only high fevers. HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said clinicians should prescribe the lowest effective dose for the shortest duration medically necessary. This, there's conflicting reports, so let's just get to Kenvue's response before we get to the conflicting reports. Kenvue, the maker of Tylenol, obviously strongly disagrees with the move, saying sound science supports its safety. Medical groups as well argue that untreated fever or pain in pregnancy or during pregnancy actually poses greater risk to the mother than possibly the use of acetaminophen does to the fetus. I'm not taking a position either way. Either way, there's two studies here. One by Harvard and Mount Sinai, which reviewed 46 studies, suggested prolonged use of 4 weeks or more. That's what prolonged use, I guess, in their definition means, may increase the risk of autism and ADHD. Other studies, including JAMA, which studied 2.5 million Swedish children, found no link when comparing siblings. And Joey, I should mention on the same day, the FDA approved folic acid for autism treatment in cases tied to cerebral folate deficiency. Medicaid programs will now cover folinic acid for the treatment as such. They were not directly linked, but obviously it has to do with autism. Yeah,
it's unfortunate, man. We know that there's obviously been an uptick in cases of autism. Saying a lot of things are related here, whether it be vaccinations, now Tylenol. I don't know. I think it's a sensitive space. It's really tough to talk about, considering for those who have kids and people who have children with autism. Definitely a sensitive subject, but they're starting to link a lot of different things to this. I don't know if that's the case. You got to do a little bit more research on it. But yeah, I mean, don't take those drugs at the end of the day if you're not supposed to. And there is the link to autism. That's all I really have to say about it, because I think it's pretty sensitive.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't really want to offend anybody.
Yeah.
Adira, what is your perspective on this, aside from the press conference yesterday when Donald Trump was giving directions to others everywhere?
Sharif, this might be a bit controversial, but if you're a Kenvue long right now, I'm going to have to say it. I guess you're going to have to tough it out. I'm sorry, because the words tough it out were said so many times during the press conference. I had to make that reference. But all jokes aside, I am very sorry to anyone who is long Kenvue. That was a really... I don't want to get too much into this, because I do think it's charged, and a lot of it's not going to be market related. But I think for Kenvue, unfortunately, even with like the gap up that we had today, we already gave a lot of it back. This thing is at all-time lows. So it is a really rough look. Kenvue, for the record, has come out here and they were like, there's sometimes actually taking Tylenol or not taking Tylenol. If you've got a headache and like suffering through that fever, that's actually worse. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens there. But one thing too, Sharif, that you mentioned with regards to like the 4 weeks, that seems like such an excessive time period to be taking Tylenol that you wonder like how much that's actually happening, right? So I think in those cases, like it makes sense, but I wonder if there's like a study showing if they take it like shorter periods of time.
But here's the thing, Adara, how do you convince pregnant mothers to want to take this and to create a controlled study? You know what I mean? Who is going to want to participate in this?
Maybe they can do it pregnant, like might. I don't want to hurt animals or anything. I'm trying to find a way because I think you're right. It's hard because you want to study this to find out more information, but it's also hard to study. I think this whole story is very much a catch-22, and it's a tough one. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. All right. I think we've said all we needed to say about this. Should we go on? All right, Amazon faces FTC in Prime trial. What's going on here? It's nothing we haven't heard. They make Prime hard to cancel. The FTC's pissed. So Amazon is on trial in federal court in Seattle over allegations from the Federal Trade Commission that it tricked millions of users into signing up for Prime and made it deliberately hard to cancel. The trial will test the claims that Amazon's tactics violated competition and consumer protection laws. Jury selection began yesterday. Opening arguments begin today. So we're on our way. Amazon is the worst performing between it and NVIDIA. Mag 7 name on the day down 2.46, NVIDIA down 2.48, basically the same. Prime, if you don't remember, was launched back in 2005 and has grown to about 200 million users worldwide. Membership, I think it differs geographically, but in the States it costs about $139 annually. Jeff Bezos said everybody should have it and you'd be irresponsible not to be a member. Shout out to Jeff. Here's what the FTC is claiming, Joey. Here are the allegations of deception. The FTC claims Amazon used dark patterns, I don't know what that means, deceptive design practices to trick customers into enrolling into Prime. Examples include buttons that appeared to complete a purchase, but also signed users up for Prime without clear disclosure. Cancellation as well required navigating to 4 web pages and 15 options. Those are some of the allegations of deception. We're going to pause. We're going to Adira.
Yeah, Powell stepping off the podium. He was asked about his schedule later today. The rest of it was, I guess, a pretty casual fireside chat type affair. Market is bouncing a little bit again. Powell steps off the podium. As I mentioned, there wasn't really anything here that we weren't expecting. Just to do a quick summary, there was a lot of caution. And as we've heard basically every Fed member say, the reason for the rate cut was primarily the fact that employment has been a bit of a concern, but the Fed's also still worried about inflation. So that dual mandate continues to be in conflict. Back to you.
You, Adira. Let's keep going here, Joey. Almost got. Amazon defends itself. Obviously, they're not admitting liability. Amazon argues its sign-up and cancellation process is very clear, very simple, and that transparency has always been provided for their end. FTC did catch an early win, right? The U.S. District Court Judge John Chun actually ruled that Amazon and 2 senior executives violated the Restore Online Shoppers Confidence Act by collecting billing information before disclosing terms. Senior executive Jamil Ghani and Neil Lindsay, who's a former Prime leader, now he's a senior vice president, could face individual liability if the jury rules for the FTC in this case. Very few times, Joey, we see execs take personal liability for actions that they did under the company umbrella. Piercing the corporate veil is what they call it.
All right. You ready for this?
I'm ready, Joe.
All right. Your submission for expense reimbursement for accommodations, meals, and alternative transportation under special labor disruption policy is currently under review. We apologize that this is taking longer than expected. Okay. The FTC is probing into Amazon Prime because they're making it difficult to
was that
cancel.
Air Canada?
Yes. To make it difficult to eliminate Prime subscription, to cancel them. Well, meanwhile, we have our largest airline over here. You can't even, there's no phone number, there's anything, there's nothing. Air Canada is, I don't even want to speak any more about it and give it any more light. I can't stand it. Now, if they're getting a probe, I think it's very interesting because I don't think it's that hard to cancel your Amazon Prime subscription. You can do it on your TV, whatever it may be. So at the end of the day, I think this is all smoke and mirrors. It's not going to be much a nothing burger. I'm going to be looking to buy the dip on Amazon. Let's take a look at the actual technicals of the chart as well, too.
Let's do it.
And you can see here, look, we're still lagging the rest of. Oh, that's iBit. That's iTrash. Sorry. That's what it is. Anyways, off of that previous all-time high, you're still down 8 1/4 there.
Crazy.
So for me personally, I like these big names at the low. Mitch Hoke was talking about it this morning. He's like, with these big names, these hyperscalers, which is extreme amounts of cash flow on the books, you want to buy these dips, and I think that Amazon, regardless of what the FTC is looking into today, I think in the long run it's an absolute nothing burger, and that this thing is going to rip at some point. So yeah, I like Amazon. Buy the dips, slowly start allocating some, because eventually it will put in that new all-time high.
All right, Adara, are you a Prime subscriber? Let me just start there.
Yeah, I recently got Prime because I was like, this is actually easier and it's worth it. I also use Prime for little dumb Prime video because that's fun as well. I don't use it for, honestly, I don't really use it for either purpose that much, but I will say with regards to Prime, I've never tried to cancel it. I can't comment on how easy it is to cancel or not cancel, so I'm going to avoid that. Yeah, honestly, like I'm not going to say this is a nothing burger. I think it's obvious that the stock cared about it today, which is interesting too. I mean, you could also say, hey, but Adara, the market's down anyway. But like, let's look at actually how they moved. Amazon dropped pretty much right off the open. The Nasdaq is still making new day's lows, well into new day's lows, and Amazon really hasn't moved the same way, right? So I will say right out and about, even if this ends up being a nothing burger, I wouldn't say that it's necessarily one for today. I think it does matter for traders today. But you know, as Joe said, I think we're really gonna have to wait and see how all of this unfolds, right? I wanna see how the decision goes. These court cases take forever and a day to get sorted out. We know that's what happened with Alphabet, to the point where honestly, a lot of people kind of even forgot this was something holding Alphabet stock down, and then it blasts. So then I guess to wrap this up, I think one thing that could work for Amazon, should this end up being something that actually weighs on analysts and investors, if this gets resolved for Amazon's favor, maybe we get it popped like what we saw with Google. That's all I have to say.
You know, essentially what I'm getting at there with the nothing burgers is I'm thinking more or less long term.
I agree, yeah.
You go 4 or 5 months down the road. Are you going to be looking back at the stock and be like, oh damn, it's being held back because people can't cancel their subscription to Amazon? No, that for me, no, that's nothing, right? Like these guys are spending ridiculous amounts of cash on cloud spend, etc. So for me personally, I'm not saying that it's a nothing burger. I am saying it's a nothing burger in the long run. Maybe right now there is some selling, but if you look back, it's going to be a blip on the radar, and people are going to totally forget that, hey, yeah, I couldn't, the one day that I wanted to save a couple bucks a month, I couldn't cancel my subscription.
All right, go ahead, Adara.
No, Disney on the move, actually getting a noticeable pop here. It is worth noting, DIS will be raising the price of its Disney Plus subscriptions again as of October 21st. Disney Plus with ads will end up being increased by $2. It'll be $11.99 a month. Disney Plus with no ads will increase by $3. It'll be $19 a month. And the annual subscription for Disney Plus with ads, with no ads, will be going up by $30 for the year. So again, $2 monthly increase for Disney Plus with ads, $3 monthly increase for Disney Plus no ads, and then $30 increase for Disney Plus annual subscription, no ads. Back to you.
I swear I keep hearing something different there, Joe.
Yeah,
yeah, Stan in the chat, I had Prime for free for 30 days, was easy to cancel, high vibrations. I never had a problem with Prime, can cancel on the phone or desktop. They also refund the month you didn't use if you paid annually. So, you know, I'm obviously, this is not a scientific sample size from people in the chat, but these are important. These are anecdotal reports of actual people canceling Prime and not having a problem. I wonder if these people will be called to testify. People who had problems as well as people who don't have problems, so we can have a fair lawsuit. We'll see how this one ends up going.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Didn't another company just run through an issue where they were having troubles canceling the subscriptions?
Remind me.
I'm trying to think. I thought maybe Adara will call it, but I'm sure someone else was just going through the same issue.
Do you recall, Adara, any other company having this issue where people were complaining about canceling?
Not off the top of my head. If
Neither
I had off the top of my head, I would say but honestly, I'll think about it. I can't think of any right now.
We were talking about it a while ago. It might come.
We'll come back
if it would come back to me, yeah.
All right, let's. Ichiro says, "LOL. Good luck trying to cancel Adobe." I've heard that same thing, Ichiro. Actually, that's funny. I was talking to the production team, and some of them have very similar things to say. Let's go on to IONQ with a major quantum computing milestone. This is not actually for quantum computing, but for networking quantum compute. So let's get right to it. This is really interesting. So IONQ, with the backing of the Air Force Research Lab, has achieved a critical advancement in quantum networking. The company successfully converted photons from visible wavelengths used with trapped barium ions into telecom wavelengths on a prototype system. This breakthrough enables the potential interconnection of quantum computers over existing long-haul fiber optic infrastructure. Good luck, because I figured the data wasn't easily transferable between one location and another. It looks like maybe they're making strides in that regard. Here's the vision for the quantum internet. IONQ emphasized that the ability to shift visible light into telecom wavelengths is essential for scaling quantum information transfer. The company called this milestone a foundation for linking quantum systems globally. If scalable, if this science experiment ends up becoming commercially scalable, the technology could significantly lower barriers to commercial quantum networks by leveraging the current infrastructure that we have for fiber optics. And Joey Options was building that bad boy up there, so this is right down your alley.
Yeah.
They're actually talking about linking quantum vis-a-vis fiber
ops. Yeah, I mean, hey, again, man, once these guys really start defying the law of physics, then I think it's going to be a whole new space. Even though it is currently emerging, it's probably, if they ever happen to do so, I think it's going to be stuff that we've never personally ever seen before in the stock market. Valuations absolutely through the roof. It's been a pretty good look so far in the space overall. Rigetti, QB, TS, QuantumScape, QS, QUBT, and all of these names. So the space is strong and is growing. And I mean, if we talk about a couple of months ago, you look at RGTI, this thing was only a couple dollars. Like, and the moves that we've been experiencing, pardon me?
Ridiculous.
Yeah. It's absolutely insane. And to be honest with you, I think that could possibly just be the start of things. Yeah, I mean, you go back to November of 24. This thing was $1.43. And like, boom, there you go.
I don't even want to know. Don't tell me 2,100%.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what it is.
I don't want to hear that,
So
man.
essentially, if you were involved in this name RGTI in November of 2024 and you put in a couple $1,000, chances are you're chilling on a yacht somewhere. So, hey, man, good to you. And I think this space is going to continue to grow. The thing is,
2,100%, Katina, man. You know.
I mean,
bad, right?
it's good money.
Man, it says yachts are millions of dollars. Maybe.
Well, it depends what kind of yacht you're using, and we're not going to get too technical here on the aspect. I'm more or less being sarcastic on that fact. Exactly. It's a pretty good look. Are you going to see that type of growth within this space? I don't know, considering when you get it at those prices, at those lows, in order for it to do that, it needs to climb substantially harder. But I think the forward outlook in quantum is pretty bullish.
Oh, it's got to be, Joey. Yeah. I mean, like, you hear some of the processing times for some of the most complicated mathematical problems ever, and then you're immediately sold if it's scalable again. Yeah. Adara, this is a big jump up here for the quantum technology. We're not talking about quantum computers themselves, but we're talking about the networking side, equally as important, sharing information.
Yeah, I'm going to be really honest here. I feel like I don't have much to add to this conversation. I don't want to take away from any knowledge of quantum. I will say, good luck for the stock. A lot of these quantum names have had good moves lately. I think IONQ and Rigetti, especially with positive catalyst. And congrats to anyone holding this long. I'm just going to be honest here. I don't want to get too involved. It is a technology, admittedly, I should know more about. But as of right now, I will just say congrats to the longs.
Technologia. Thank you, Adara. And no, I mean, when you yeah, absolutely. Let's go on. CoreWeave. Oh, God. The stock again. What's going on over there, Katina Man? The Katina Man wants everyone to know the market's it's in the bathroom right now. It's in the bathroom, Katina Man. It's down 0.6. The NQ taking it on the chin today, below 25,000. We're defending 6,700 barely on the ES. We'll see if we can hold that. The NQ is leading the way down, though. 0.6, the ES not far behind, 0.57. The only major average that's positive on the day is the Russell, barely 0.04 in green. Even the Dow is down 0.25%. Let's go on to the next topic. CoreWeave upgraded on cloud demand tailwinds. So I've made my feelings very clear about CoreWeave and the circularity with NVIDIA. Putting that aside, let's talk about why Melius upgraded them today from a hold to buy and boosting the price target from 128 to 165. They're citing accelerating cloud demand both right now and well into the future. Those are quotes, that's not my words. As the primary driver for the upgrade, CoreWeave is seen by Melius as a key early adopter of NVIDIA's next-gen AI systems. And what I mean by next-gen, I'm talking about that Vera Rubin or whatever. We're moving beyond Blackwell. But for the moment, we're going to pause and send it to Joey.
All right, guys, new traders, listen up. First month free, that's right. We're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Our platform, it's everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning-fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with backtesting, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now.
Yeah, don't miss out. Don't be
that guy.
Let's talk about the positioning in AI infrastructure for CoreWeave. So, as AI inferencing, as opposed to training, of course, demand accelerates, Melius expects CoreWeave to be one of the massive beneficiaries of that from scaling their cloud workloads. CoreWeave's close ties with NVIDIA position it to be among the first to integrate cutting-edge GPU technology. And I just want to pause here for a second because we always talked about Hopper, the H100 of NVIDIA's chips, being fantastic for training, but used very seldomly for inference. That's not the case with Blackwell. Blackwell's for both training and inference, and that's what CoreWeave's getting their hands on. And they're going to be one of the first to get them en masse, obviously, aside from the hyperscalers. So that's what we're talking about here when we're saying they're really going to have an advantage in inference, because everybody who's got the Hopper, the H100, is going to be great for training, but not necessarily for inference. CoreWeave looking to differentiate themselves. Wells Fargo also, Joey, it wasn't just Melius. Wells Fargo also gave the nod to CoreWeave today, reinforcing, that bullish sentiment.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to sit on the same stance until we start seeing capex from these hyperscalers start to cool off. Okay. Then I like these cloud plays, right? Like again, you have the Snowflakes, the CoreWeaves, Azure's, Google Cloud, Amazon Web Service, and with this AI build out, I think for the foreseeable future, until you start to see those things cool down, the cloud demand is going to be there, and then you have the likes of CoreWeave also acquiring a lot of the backlog. No, that was Oracle, sorry. Oracle getting Google's backlog and everything along those lines. But if there's all this spillover, I think that some of these bigger cloud names are going to benefit from this. So I really like what's going on in the cloud space and with obviously all this AI spend.
Let's send it to Adair. She's got news, and then Adair, feel free, obviously, to comment.
For sure, SLNO is dropping. Now a short seller, or I guess either way, they have a short position in this stock by the name of Scorpion Capital. They said that they're seeing in the FDA database, apparently either yesterday or today, another hospitalization for heart failure related to this company's treatment has been added to the database. So some concerns here, I guess, about heart failure related to a treatment from SLNO. Of course, it is worth noting this is coming from a group that's already short SLNO, but again, they are citing the FDA database. So keep an eye on this stock. This is dropping to the downside. Now, in terms of CoreWeave, guys, I will talk here about CRV or CRWV. I mean, this is also dropping, but so is the whole market. One thing I do like about CoreWeave, regardless of the business model, I think from a stock perspective, it's pretty cool. You get positive news in Microsoft. CoreWeave pumps. If you guys remember what it did on Microsoft earnings day one, you get good news about NVIDIA. CoreWeave pops. Like, there's very rare that we'll get a stock that reacts so positively to basically every company's good news in their sector. So I think in that way, CoreWeave's a pretty interesting stock. I don't have too much else on this. I think this is one that people seem really bullish on. So I think for now, I mean, obviously we did end up giving some of this gap up today, but we're still well above yesterday's lows. I think right now, analysts are bullish on CoreWeave. For my part, I guess I'll follow the trend. It's not something I'd get involved with on any kind of longer term basis, but I think it's, right now at least, it seems like short term, people are getting interested in this to the upside.
I know you have the same concerns as me about the circularity issue.
I just don't get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Okay. That's
my biggest issue.
I get that. Thanks, Adara. Let's go on to Boeing. This is a good look here for Boeing. I don't know what the stock's looking like on the day, but there's a whole bunch of countries interested in Boeing's planes. Where are they, man? I think they're down. They're actually up.
Quick,
absolutely. Go because the market's tanking right now, but we don't really know why.
So I mean,
go ahead.
We know why it's tanking. I mean, we're not even down 1% yet. We're only down 3/4. But you can see the aggressive selling here coming in. September in full effect. Noted. Don't buy names and don't buy stocks in September. I'm obviously being slightly sarcastic on that front. just considering, right? I mean, usually a typically bearish month, August and September, right?
And then bottoms in October.
So there you go. So wait till October to start buying things. But in the grand scheme of things, if you look at this from a daily, nothing too bad, but it does feel slightly frothy there, Adara.
Yeah, there's some geopolitical stuff to potentially be aware of. We did have Donald Trump. Apparently, he was speaking, I guess, at another UN event. I couldn't find a stream to that worked, but I've been following the comments. One comment that was made a while ago, I think it's circulating pretty heavily right now. I guess he did say that NATO countries should shoot down Russian aircraft if they enter NATO airspace, then said that it depends. So either way, there are some geopolitical things here being brought up with Russia. From U.S. President Donald Trump, that's the only thing I'm seeing. Sometimes, these geopolitical uncertainties can and will move the market. That's all I'm seeing. Back to you.
Yeah, as the market continues to bleed down. Yeah, you got to see some of the incursions. We saw Lithuania have their airspace breached not long ago. We know Poland's airspace was breached by some drones, which were actually shot down. But we were talking about a MiG-25. I believe it was a MiG-25 that penetrated Lithuanian airspace and then kind of came back out.
Oh, yeah?
You feel he's testing NATO defenses or NATO response times. That's my guess. He's a KGB guy, bro. Well, of course he's going to be doing this stuff, man. That's his modus operandi. Let's go on to Boeing, though. Interesting look here for Boeing. They're still positive on the day despite dropping down off the highs. Uzbekistan Airways signed a deal with Boeing for up to 22 787 Dreamliners, marking the largest commercial aircraft order ever for Central Asian countries. The order is valued about $8.5 billion, including firm purchases as well as options. Deliveries are expected to expand Uzbekistan's long-haul fleet. Good for them. Turkey also interested in doing business with the states for a variety of different reasons. President Tayyip Erdogan met with Trump in Washington to discuss purchasing F-16s as well as F-35s, along with Boeing aircraft. The talks focused on expanding Turkey's defense portfolio, with Trump pushing for U.S. defense exports as a strategic tool for alliances. Obviously, Turkey part of NATO. Erdogan hinted, though, Turkey could walk away from the F-35s, but remains open to Boeing for commercial purposes. So we'll have to see. Canada also. I don't know if Canada went ahead with the F-35 purchase. I have to check. I think the decision day was yesterday. China as well in focus here for Boeing. There's a group of bipartisan lawmakers out in Beijing right now, and they're pressing for a Boeing-China aircraft purchase deal, potentially reopening a critical market for Boeing. We know that that is part of the ongoing discussions right now between President Donald Trump and President Xi, where Boeing is kind of being used as a bargaining chip. The Chinese are looking to make a big purchase from Boeing, as well as maintenance parts as well for their aging fleet, which they haven't been getting access to. Negotiations apparently with this bipartisan lawmaker group, Joey, are nearing the completion stages, but you got to assume here that this deal must form some sort of part of the trade negotiations between China and
the United States. Yeah, I think there's a lot of pieces to the trade deals puzzle. I mean, we were talking about the TikTok deal not too long ago. Obviously, you have the precious metals. And then now with Boeing, the thing is, what I don't understand with Boeing is that their backlog is absolutely insane. And they essentially run a monopoly, and they can't get out of their own way. I think that this stock should be extremely less turbulent from a technical standpoint than what it already is. So for me personally, Boeing, the more deals, the better. But they also have to start pumping out a little bit more planes because their backlog is through the roof. They struck a deal with China not too long ago as well, too. So, I mean, be patient on that one. You got countries ordering planes left, right, and center, and they just can't meet the demands. So whatever. What's the union called, the FCCA or something like that?
The regulatory body?
Yeah.
The FTC.
FTC. No. I know
what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Coming to me.
The FAA. Yeah. So and apparently, like, there was some form of talks a long time ago of them hiring an FAA division. Thank you for that. So they can get this right. So they can start producing more planes and stop using duct tape and dish soap and doing all these things. So at the end of the day, you run a monopoly. Your only other competition really for commercial airplanes is Airbus. And you can't get it right, so I don't know. Hopefully they do eventually, because I think this is a stock that should be performing significantly better.
All right, I just want to look at this real quick. So apparently the deadline came yesterday, and there was no report, no actual decision made by the Canadian government on whether they're going to go ahead with the F-35. So Defense Minister David McGuinty hasn't spoken about that. Anyway, I just want to double check. Adara, 3 deals possibly on the table here for Boeing, China, Uzbekistan, and Turkey.
Yeah, I have to praise Kelly Ortberg here. I know people are probably thinking, wow, Adara making another Boeing headline about Kelly Ortberg. But here's the thing, Sharif, like we've all talked about this on this show quite frequently. The way that Boeing is being kind of positioned as a bit of a bargaining chip with regards to these trade deals, it's a really good opportunity for a certain CEO, Kelly Ortberg, to really show they've got their stuff. Now, as Joe says, they have to get the production up. They have to, throw away the Dawn dish soap unless it's in the company kitchen, that type of thing. They still have steps to make. But I think what's been, excellent, I think a really good test for Kelly is, hey, you've been put in a position where deals are more or less on your doorstep. What will you do with them and how will you execute? I think so far, Kelly Ortberg has done an excellent job of proving himself. As of right now, so far, he is the only CEO of the company who was not an interim CEO who hasn't either resigned in disgrace or had some kind of situation afterwards that he was called the worst CEO in American history. And that title belongs to our boy, W. James McNerney, who didn't resign in disgrace, but has since been called the worst CEO in American history. Now, Kelly Ortberg, Sharif, has the opportunity to be the only permanent Boeing CEO since the 90s to not have this happen. I really want to see him pull it off, and I honestly think he can. And as I said, he's been really put in a position. He's been gifted this situation where he can really make that happen thanks to these deals. I hope he pulls it off for the sake of the company, for the sake of Boeing. And yeah, I mean, get it, Kelly. If people are going to think I'm in love with the man, I better rep him.
There you go. And your infographic showed him up 40%. So he's doing his job so far.
That was, I think, as of August, but still.
So is it up more or less since then?
Probably roughly the same, I think.
Roughly the same.
Yeah, I'll have to look at it. I'll have to update it.
All right, guys, a couple more over here. Let's talk about Google. Geez Louise, I can't catch a break, Joey. Another possible antitrust lawsuit by, yes, you guessed it, the Department of Justice. This time, not around Chrome and some of the other products, but this time around their ad business. So the U.S. Department of Justice and a coalition of states are pressing Google to sell its ad exchange business known as AdX, which charges publishers a 20% fee on the instant ad auctions. The government argues Google illegally tied AdX to its publisher ad server, creating an unlawful monopoly in web advertising technology. Department of Justice Attorney Julia Tarver-Wood said the risk of Google recreating ties is just too great without a forced divestiture by the government. Google's defense goes as follows. Their lawyer, Karen Dunn, called the Department of Justice proposals radical and reckless, claiming they would harm competition by removing Google from the ad market. The company argues that the Department of Justice would gain excessive control over a major U.S. tech platform, which is undesirable, according to the company. Google has instead proposed policy changes that would make it easier for publishers to use rival programs. But the Department of Justice said that's not far enough to restore fair competition, so they're not going for it. Here's the broader antitrust crackdown that I mentioned at the top. Judge Leonie Brinkema, presiding over the trial, previously ruled that Google holds unlawful monopolies in advertising technology. The Department of Justice, as we know, lost its recent attempt to force Google to sell Chrome, but officials argue this case, not the Chrome case, but this case is fundamentally different given AdX's central role in the ad market. So this advanced local executive, Grant Whitmore, he testified that Google's vertical ownership of ad tools lets it put their thumb on the scale, undermining fair auctions. Google's denied that. This is interesting, Joey. I mean, they're 1 for 1, right?
Yeah.
They're 1 for 2.
Yeah.
They're 1 for 2 so far. Do they go 2 for 2? Like, one is still outstanding.
Yeah.
Do you feel this is different than the Chrome business, given that they're on this side of the ad and this side of the ad?
No, I don't think there's much difference, to be honest with you.
Okay.
You know what? This is the route that I'm going with this. The judge ruled in the previous antitrust case that, hey, for the current market environment, and like obviously the AI race, that they're going to rule in Google's favor. Why? Because you want your best players to become your best players. Now, are they going to steal digital ad? No, someone else is just going to come in and take it. But you want them to remain as strong as they possibly can, considering that your number one frenemy, yes, China, is really starting to gain ground in the AI race. Next thing you know, you want them to start grabbing digital ad revenue from you? No, I don't think that's going to be the case whatsoever, regards to Temu, Shein, whatever it may be. I think this is just another punch towards Google that is essentially going to turn into nothing. They're going to end up paying a little bit of cash, and the next thing you know, considering this, the stock's going to climb another 34% as soon as the judge rules in their favor. So I think this isn't very much. I think they'll be able to blow past this without any form of questioning, because you want your best players to remain your best players, and they need to stop picking on Google, to be honest with you. Because at the end of the day, it's like, why are you trying to bring down your strongest companies? It just doesn't make sense to me. Because you want a fair playing field? Is everything fair in life? Absolutely not. Especially when you're in this race against China.
Okay, so I just wanted to explain because I know people are asking questions. Sorry, Adair, give me 1 second. So this is Perplexity's explanation of what the ADX issue is. So ADX, the ADX antitrust issue with Google centers on how Google allegedly created and maintained a monopoly in the digital ads ecosystem by tightly linking its ad exchange with its dominant publisher ad server, DFP, okay? Google required publishers to use its ad server, named DFP, to access highly valued demand from the AdX advertisers and vice versa, effectively locking publishers and advertisers into its system and making it nearly impossible for rivals to compete at scale. This tying meant competitors' exchanges and server products were disadvantaged because they could not match the scale, data, or privileged access of Google's stack. Google could also give AdX special advantages in the ad auctions like first look or last look privileges, enabling it to extract higher fees and reinforce its market power. The U.S. Department of Justice argued these practices harm publishers, so now we were looking at the allegations. But that's the explanation of the actual mechanics of how it works. My buddy's in digital ad sales. He explained this to me 100 times. I can't really wrap my mind around it so easily. Adira, you probably have a grasp on this. What's your making of this latest DOJ probe into Google?
Yeah, I mean, they want to get Google, as you said. I think one thing, too, I honestly don't think that the Amit Mehta ruling, that was his ruling initially in DOJ, I think that was completely fair, right? So I think if we can come up with some kind of AdSense ruling that is as fair as that other previous DOJ-related Google ruling where the judge said, hey, you know what, you do have to share information with your competitors in search, but we're not going to separate the business. I think if they can come to some sort of similar consensus with the ad issue, then I think it's fine. One thing I will say, too, and I'm not sure if this is what the investigation is related to specifically. It doesn't seem like it seems to, but it is related to Google and ads. They do also have their fingers in other ad-related pies, like YouTube, right? They have YouTube AdSense, Google AdSense. So that alone, you think that'd be enough, ad-related action for them? We're gonna have to wait and find out what happens here. I think the Google lawyer calling the policies out radical and reckless, or the proposals there from the DOJ, is extreme, but we get it. They're trying to fight for their life here in tech. And I think, we're gonna have to wait and see how it turns out. I don't have too much on this, truthfully, but I think it's very clear that these big tech companies, we thought this was going to be a bit more friendly from a regulatory standpoint. So right now, we're not really sure if that is, in fact, the case, but I think that I really want to know, if we break more into this case, if they bring up the AdSense thing with YouTube, because that's another aspect of Google's ads that I probably know the most about, that I'm kind of shocked wasn't brought up here yet. Yeah,
fair enough. All right, let's go into the last story as we wind down the show. Kind of, I don't want to say nothing burger, but a light story. CleanSpark, CLSK. Where is it? It's up 1.13, but dropping with the overall market. 15.19 high, low a day 1378. Here's the reason we're up. Increased its Bitcoin-backed credit facility with Coinbase Prime by $100 million, enhancing its ability to fund expansion as well as the company's strategic initiatives. The company plans to use the capital to grow its energy portfolio, obviously important for mining, scaling their mining operations, so buying more NVIDIA GPUs probably, or maybe others, who knows, and invest in high-performance computing capabilities. Not shocked by that. CEO Matt Schultz highlighted opportunities to accelerate mining growth while optimizing their assets near metro centers and key infrastructure pipelines. CleanSpark sees potential, Joey, in high-performance compute campuses, which could support broader digital infrastructures needed beyond Bitcoin mining. So they were up nicely in the pre-market, 5.4%, down now to about 1.13. This is obviously something that you know very well in the crypto field.
Yeah.
Do you like the expansion of these miners, or has mining kind of lost its luster, you know, with Mara, CleanSpark, Riot, Hut, all of them kind of lagging lately?
It's such a weird space, too, because we know, obviously, the costs of mining are extremely high. Obviously, you have the energy and everything along those lines. And the mining rigs are only getting better and better, Sharif, so you got to continuously update your systems. I don't know if it will ever become a space where it's lagging to the point where it's like, okay, the appreciation in Bitcoin has just gone through the roof, and you have the likes of Mara, who is actually one of the largest holders of Bitcoin. I think it's definitely top 5 in America. I believe Adara knows the fact of that, but they have a couple hundred, like over 250,000 Bitcoin, I'm pretty sure, at that point. So when is that going to come into play? Because if these Bitcoin treasuries are going through the roof, and you have these miners who are already holding a substantial amount of the coin, at what point is that flip going to switch? And you kind of get the appreciation when in the miners, but you just got to take into consideration how expensive it is to run these Bitcoin mining rigs. So I don't know, until they show otherwise, Sharif, I don't love with the expansion of the Bitcoin mining, considering we have a couple more years until the halving cycle, right? So the next cycle, isn't it that
we
the next
April, right?
Yeah,
Past April.
Of April of 28. Right, so is the next halving cycle anywhere around there? So you still have some time in order to do so, and then obviously the reward is cut in half. And with that being said, with the reward being cut in half, once again, you drastically need Bitcoin to have appreciated. Otherwise, it's just there's no bang for your buck there.
Adara, any thoughts on this latest CleanSpark headline?
Yeah, I mean, for one, Sharif, I have to ask: was your has mining lost its luster? Was that a pun? You know, mining, luster.
I didn't actually. I told you my mind doesn't work that way.
I figured it wasn't, but I had to address it either way because it was awesome. Now, Joe, with regards to your point, I just looked this up. I knew Marathon Digital had at least a tenth of the Bitcoin of MSTR. It has significantly less Bitcoin than MSTR. Yeah, it's got just over 52,000, so not a huge amount of Bitcoin.
Mara?
Yeah, Mara.
Oh, I thought they had at least 250,000. Yeah, I thought they had about 50
MSTR is the most, and then anyone else who's second or third is going to have way less. I have an infographic on this, but I haven't updated it in months, so I'm not going to bother showing it. I want to mention as well that with CLSK, I actually think, to comment on what you guys are saying, I think it makes sense for these to try to broaden their horizons a bit. I know IREN, I don't know a ton about the company's business model, truthfully, but they were initially a pure Bitcoin kind of mining type play, and they've made their way in energy space as well, right? It makes sense you're trying to get these data center uses because, as Sharif implied there, maybe mining has lost its luster, or you want to do something else at the same time. I think that's completely fair. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and I think good on CleanSpark for trying to spark a new aspect of the business, especially if you're worried that hey, with all of these, I guess, crypto treasury asset plays, maybe there's a new name in the game in town when it comes to crypto trades. And I'm not saying by any means that the mining trade is done, but I think it makes sense given that climate, given again some concerns about is mining the best use for energy when you've got data centers. I think it makes a lot of sense to diversify.
And we see a lot of these miners, at least initially, Adara, I remember they were looking for very cheap energy jurisdictions. So wherever they could get the cheapest energy, they were going to China, then China banned them, and they were going to Russia, and then they were going to Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan. So they're very fluid. They just set up where the costs make the most sense. And obviously, high performance computing keeps increasing, so they'll have to eat into margins. We'll have to wait and see. Thank you for that. I want to point out one thing though. I was talking about some of these miners. I want to show Hut 8 because an individual in the chat pointed this out to me. I didn't actually see this, but look at this, Joey. You're still well off all-time highs. So that's the chart on Hut 8. So if you look at the COVID highs back in November of 2021, we are still down 53%. but that's it. We're breaking out here above technical levels above 32. But when you look at the same weekly, like on that hard garbage Mara, you're not even close.
What's Riot?
Let's look at Riot as well. See how it's performing relative to its recent highs in COVID. Oh, now it looks like it switched from Mara to Riot, eh? Embarrassing.
Damn.
No, these are absolutely not the same whatsoever. Hut 8 looks a lot better, but it seems as if it's an industry-wide thing where they were super overvalued during COVID and things came back to earth, so to speak, and some of them have recovered more than others. Let's take a quick look just at CLSK on the weekly. Seems as if all of these ones, they want to take a really long time to open up. There we go. Yeah, no, I would say Hut 8 is definitely the best looking of the bunch there. That's just my opinion, but there you go. You can take one last quick look at the COVID highs versus where we are right now.
Yeah, I just think the margins aren't there, right? Like it's super capex heavy, just running the energy, and I mean it could be one of the greatest buys of all time if Bitcoin goes to $1 million or whatever it may be, if you get it off of these lows. But it can also be nothing because they're just spending more money than what they're actually bringing in, and Bitcoin hasn't appreciated that much. So.
Yeah, and that will definitely be an issue. It'll have to make sense financially. All right, guys. Been a good day. A good day in general, not a good day trading for me, but we'll close out this position last here on REPL that we were holding out for the Beak Weather into the mid-90s. Doesn't look like it's going to happen, so we'll flatten out that. And with that, we're going to send you to the big kahunas, Neil and Sean, who are over there. Joseph and I will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Peace, boys.
Thank you, Sharif. Welcome back, everybody. Look, the market is trying to bounce off some of those lows, and there was